Consequence Podcast Network.
My friendship to all of you precludes my involvement with any one of you. But if you wanna make love, then I do too, and I'll be right there behind you. All in the name of oh, all in the name of oh, all in the name of oh.
Greetings, constant listeners, and welcome yet again to another episode of the Losers Club, a Stephen King podcast, brought to you by the Consequence Podcast Network. Today, we will be sharing with you a very special list of short stories from 1993's Nightmares and Dreamscapes. That's right, if you turned into our previous Marescapes ep, you'll know we all voted on our favorite stories 1 through 24, and we covered the bottom half and now have 12 stories left. Collectively, these have been dubbed the top 12. And speaking on the merits of those tales today, we have what I consider a top 4 hosts of this podcast, which I'm sure all the other hosts would disagree. I'm Mackenzie, the whole mess Gerber, constant contributor to this podcast, as well as Halloweenies. And I'm going to send it over to Aisha.
This is Aisha, ready for that rainy season here in Chicago. And I'll pass this over to Dan.
This is really fluid.
I was trying to do an alliteration, but I'm not seeing any. I'm sure there's a character I can think of, but I'm just going to say Dan Popsy Caffrey. Because I love Popsy.
You could have done home delivery.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Well, I'm Popsy. I'm Popsy boy. So.
Well, I'm Popsy.
That's me. I'm Popsy.
I demand it.
And who else do we have?
It's Mel. It's Mel in Iowa City. I was the moving finger last time, and there really aren't any. I guess I'll be Mumney's last case.
Well, I'm excited to have everybody back on this, and I guess we're gonna jump into this here.
Yeah, people know what's up.
I just let them know.
I'm just saying we don't have to do an intro again because they know the deal. They know the drill. They were here.
We don't have to go into. Look, if you want facts, if you want the cold hard facts on King and why he wrote this, go back and listen to the other episode. Why are you jumping into the top 12? You got to listen to the worst.
Yeah, we really get into it.
Before you get to the best.
And we've made up, and now we're back to be a little
Unless
bit
you're
kinder.
like me and you like to go backwards and start with the best and then go to the worst. So
Yeah, we should. If they're listening to this one, we should. And you haven't listened to the other one, just know that it got heated last time, and I don't know if the podcast will ever
Mel
recover.
through a chair.
Yeah, Mel stood up through a chair. And
I think the craziest one is. I think the craziest one we're going to start with here is because I had it so far down on my list. It's number 12, Umni's last case.
Is it Umni or Umni? Do you guys say
and
Umni
I was going to say, am I saying that right?
I said Umni.
I said Umni. Yeah, I think Umni.
Now, does anyone want to defend this story? I had this story at number 20 for me. I did not like this story. Now let me just say really quickly off the top. I think I just didn't really love it because of the idea of it being about another writer writing a character into existence, or it was like all right, we've had Secret Window, we've had Dark Half, I was just kind of over these types of stories, and I'll tell you what, I didn't like that lead character. He's a real monster.
Yeah,
so
he was a piece of shit.
I just didn't care about him. But did anyone love this story? I'm assuming someone did because it's at number 12.
I actually had it at number 12. I thought it was a serviceable story, but I agree with you, Mac, in that it really is relying on a gimmick that King has done several other times before, and for me, it never really transcends that. That being said, I thought it was like an okay piece of hard-boiled noir with a little twist at the end. So yeah, it was very middle of the road for me. Wait, yeah, so someone had to have loved it, right?
Well, I had it at 17, so I think we'll have to say Aisha for last.
Aisha?
But
I'm pretty sure I had it at number 12 or 7.
Okay, it probably just averaged out.
It wasn't that high on my list of actual liking anything. It was just more. I think I liked it a bit more because of the fact that I hated Omni's character so much that I thought King did a good job of I don't know if this was his intention, but it made me like not feel bad when his life got switched around. I don't know if I should be giving that away right now, but and I don't know. There were parts where, like Candy Cane, when he talks about how like there was nothing wrong with a little slap and tickle, but then there was that voice in his head that was like, you know, that's a fairy tale that you like to tell yourself. So there were little parts that I don't know if King was, when did he write this? Was he like on anything at this point in time?
I guess we don't know.
I have no clue. I usually write this stuff down, but for
No,
this,
I
mean, there's nothing in his notes about it. Just that he wanted to.
By this point,
He wanted to do a noir.
He wanted. I think it was interesting too. Again, like I read it after I listened to the audio version first, and they had, I think, Robert B. Parker, who's also a crime detective, like novelist, and his voice like goes really well into that like noir, like smoky. Like I felt like I was there, and so maybe that's why I got into the story when I first heard it. It still had its issues, but it wasn't as bad as some of the other ones that I griped about in the other.
So it had that kind of there I was, see on the
Yeah, it's so interesting that like this one and Sorry Right Number that we discussed last time, like I can imagine them benefiting so hugely from being listened to. The same for me is that like this is not only a thing that King has done over and over again, but a thing that like writers do, and like it didn't transcend the gimmick for me as well. But I do agree with Aisha that like when it starts to sort of puncture the noir tropes in a way that acknowledges how kind of gross they can be, especially with his secretary, and like that was a little pleasurable. And it's always kind of fun to see a character's world like literally kind of fall apart around him.
There's like a chapter that's called Interview with God, and I just kind of like that ends that whole scene where like Omni comes face to face with, I think it's Landing is the name of the author that's created his world. And I think also you guys I'm at a disadvantage to you all because you've read most of like pretty much his whole lexicon, and I've not read everything. So for me, it's not a tired motif. So that might also be why like my bias went a little bit differently. And to correct my earlier mention, I actually had it a lot higher than I realized. It was like number 5.
Oh wow.
So that's one mystery that's solved.
This
I didn't win the whatever prize he talked about constantly for nothing.
We did talk about how a lot of these stories are kind of middling. So, and this is coming in right in the dead middle at 12. So, I think that's cool. I mean, that's a really good take, Aisha, because I didn't really think about that. Like we have read a lot of King. I haven't read. I've only read up until this point. What King's put out there, except for the Dark Tower series. But yeah, I didn't. I think if you're just coming at it from a totally fresh perspective, it can be a really gripping, interesting story. And I do agree with you in the sense that he is so bad that when you realize his life's being stolen from him, it does kind of make it more of like I'm interested in seeing what he has to go through. So I wasn't looking at it like that, but I think I like that take. I do think it's interesting though. They mention the everyone on Earth has a double, and I kind of like that little Twinners dark half kind of thing going on. Talisman-esque King's Dominion mention.
It's also just funny because he casts the world of the noir as a sort of paradise when in fact it's this gritty, dark genre. But it is true that like no one in the world of a Chandler noir like has shingles, right? Like that's what he has to deal with when he becomes a real person. It's like I guess it is interesting to me to think about how different genres could be their own types of uncorrupted Edens, including the ones that are like about crime and like have their own problematic tropes, and it is still a made-up fairy tale. China Mayville says that fantasy and noir are much closer together than people realize, and I think I agree with him.
China Mayville's the guy who wrote Rat, or King Rat, right? Is that the one book?
Ooh, I don't know about that one. He wrote Perdido Street Station and The City and the City. And some other stuff. It's possible that he also wrote King Rat.
Carry On? Did he Carry On? I can't remember. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I was going to ask, do you consider yourself like a crime fiction fan, Mel?
No, I don't. I'm not I'm not well versed in noir or mystery. I'm very well versed in the Thomas Harris Silence of the Lambs series,
Yeah.
but that's pretty much it.
As am I. We're not going to get Mel Castle's Hodges trilogy in the future or something like that.
And never say never.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I can't wait for that Hodges trilogy.
but like her version of Hodges, whoever that would be.
I think writing mystery is so hard. Like,
Yeah.
hats off to the mystery writers out there. You have to know so much, and then you have to like make it compelling from a plot perspective, and that's very intimidating.
It is, because when I think about me, when I'm like reading those kinds of stories, like I'm already like guessing, and I'm like, it's the dad who did it, or it's this
Right.
person who did it. So if you can like trick me, that's really good, because I'm usually like, I already figured it out in the first like few pages.
That's pretty special, because I can never figure these things out, and I'm never looking at it like that. I wish I
watch
was.
a lot of crime and horror and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
If I'm watching
No, would you?
Scooby Doo, I can figure it out usually who the
Scoob.
the retainer is.
I need a
Yeah,
dog.
Scooby Doo. Mel, would you put Randall as the lead character of that story?
Of which story?
Of your trilogy, of your noir trilogy.
Why would I put Randall as the main character?
I just think he'd make for a good, detective.
Did he tell you to say this?
No,
Is
not at
Randall
all.
trying to incept me?
I just like picking on Randall when he's not here, because it creates fun banter when I'm on an episode with him.
I mean, Randall is, context free. Randall's a great name for a detective, so if I'm not doing it, somebody should.
Yeah, that's very true.
We're volunteering.
All right,
Randall for
well,
your
I
show.
love it. Most of that chatter was not about the story, which is not even a real noir story. Like,
Hey, we're at number 12 here, so it's gonna be slim pickings for a little bit. But coming in now at number 11 is The House on Maple Street. Now, there's a little backstory with this, because in 1984, a picture book was published called The Mysteries of Harris Burdick, and it was by Chris Van Allsburg, who you all might remember from books such as Jumanji
yes.
and The Polar Express. Also,
and Zathura.
Zathura and the Garden of Abdul Ghazazi, which I think is an underrated one. And it was basically a collection of short, or not a collection of short stories, a collection of pictures. There were, I think, 14 pictures associated with stories that this, elusive Harris Burdick that disappeared had written, but only the pictures remained, and they each had a caption. And I think a lot of writers around the world have been influenced by this, and to basically take that picture and then write a story about it. And King was one of them. And so The House on Maple Street is actually in the edition of the book that I have, the pictures in there.
Mine
I don't know
too.
if you guys have that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is really cool. It's basically the house on Maple Street taking off as if it was, a rocket. And also in the, I actually have the Harris Burdick book, because I always loved those pictures growing up. And the caption for this says, "It was a perfect liftoff."
Nice.
But that's not in the book, so that's just a little extra for you.
I have to say, I didn't
I-
know that about the book until afterwards, until I read the notes on it, and I was so confused about why the book only had one picture in it. I was like, this feels so...
Me too.
I was like, this feels so
Mac-
lazy to me. Yeah.
Mac, the line, "It was a perfect liftoff," is in the story. For me, it's on page 535.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I guess it's not in the... It's not like a caption of the picture, you know what I mean? Like in here.
Oh, sure. Like the caption isn't matched
I
with
think,
the picture, but the line is in the story.
It's worked into the book. I didn't know that. Yeah, cool. I think I remember when I was introduced to the Mysteries of Harris Burdick when I was like in 5th grade, and I think I wrote a story about the one that's actually the cover picture of like the 4 people on like the little train contraption going into the mist. And there's a castle in the distance. I wrote a story in like 5th grade about it. If I find it, I'll post it. So I knew of the House of Maple Street before, being introduced to King. But I remember when Nightmares and Dreamscapes came out, my brother mentioned that story was actually in the Stephen King book, and it was like a big deal. And I was like really interested in reading it, and I didn't read it until, so many weeks ago. But I like this one. I actually had this further up. I had it at like number 7 for me. But again, I think it was kind of a mixed bag of having such a weird connection with it from a different standpoint. But I also like to think that the house was taking off to go back home to his homeland, the Tommyknockers.
Yeah,
The Tommyknockers is apparently the name of the planet.
Yeah, I had this. This was right. This was spot on for me. Number 11 for me. Number 11 on our overall rankings.
Oh, nice.
I wrote like
number 19 for me.
I thought it was fully dumb, but like not overtly like bothersome to me. At least the party guests know that Daddy Lou sucks. Like that was like the one saving grace of like King writing another cliched abusive character was like, at least these party guests are like, dude, you're a fucking asshole.
Right.
Otherwise, dumb Twilight Zone episode. I like the concept of metal growing inside the house, but it was written in that folksy way that annoys me.
Yeah, I had this at number 14. And it's funny because a lot of these stories that we're going to get to later on also rely on one gimmick, but I guess it's just a gimmick that I like a little bit better. This, to me, especially with the abusive father, it felt kind of like a ripoff of Radio Flyer a little bit. I can't remember if Radio Flyer came out before. I think it did, yeah, because that's like from the 80s. I don't know. It's funny to me that this is based on a picture because to me, the picture is almost all you need to know about this story, right? Like the characters they're not memorable enough to me to really to really merit all this text with it. I mean, once again, nothing terrible about this story, but I think it really just relies on, abusive, he's their stepfather, right? Abusive stepfather. Yeah. Kids escaping, house taking off, bada bing, bada boom, and that's kind of it. So for me, it's like, looking at the picture sort of sums up everything that works about this story. So yeah, that's why it was
that was
ranked
the original
so
caption, Dan, was house taking off, bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. Oh!
You can see the whiteout on there.
We get a gangster from Dolan's catalog. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, it's got a space.
Crossover movie.
Oh.
Aisha, you said you had this at 19, so you weren't a big fan of this one?
Yeah, I think it's just because for me it wasn't very memorable. I think that's what Mel said as well. Because, again, it was pretty much I figured out where we were going. It was interesting how the house was kind of mutating and growing. But outside of that, I was just kind of like, all right, let's get to the part where you take off into space. It was like, are you guys going or are you sending him? That's all I need to find out.
So I wanted to ask you, do you think that if the picture wasn't in the book, that you would have been more interested in like what's going to happen? Because the picture kind of gives everything away right out the gate.
So I had to download the book, so I didn't have any paperback book. I was reading it.
Interesting.
So I had no picture. So that wasn't even in there. It was just kind of like, it just didn't interest me. It reminded me of a lot of books maybe when I was younger that I've been into, like those like little short story, sci-fi like fantasy books that you would read. But it just kind of didn't hold my attention very well. And the abusive scene with the father, it was like, okay, so I have a reason why now that we're sending him to space. And I kind of just felt kind of cheated by the whole situation at the party where nobody did anything to stop him. But then, of course, I have to remember the time, and I guess that's what King was going for. That everyone's like, oh, he's an asshole, but that's all right. We're just going to keep partying. So
was anyone disturbed that Lou's favorite afternoon snack was a glass of milk and a ketchup sandwich?
Yes. Oh.
Yeah. What was that?
Nasty.
Send him to space.
Disgusting.
Put that man in space.
How did he discover that snack?
The milk is not as... The milk is not... Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, give me the sandwich. The milk would not be as bad if not for the ketchup sandwich. Like, milk on its own is not that bad. There's that movie Gummo. Have y'all have seen Gummo, right? Or
I don't want to see Gummo.
It's
no, I haven't seen it.
It's not. I think it thinks it's edgier than it was. Anyway, there's a scene in Gummo where it's a pretty famous scene. This kid is sitting in the bathtub and his mom is giving him dinner on a tray while she shampoos his hair, and it's shot really grossly and everything. But the kid is eating really nasty looking spaghetti and a glass of milk, and that just really... I'm sure I've eaten spaghetti and milk at some point in my life as a kid, but Yeah, just milk combined with other things. Milk combined with anything that's not cookies or like a deli sandwich, I think is kind of nasty to me.
It's just a deli sandwich. It's just ketchup.
So
I just watched Killing of a Sacred Deer for the first time, and there's a really gross spaghetti eating scene in
Ooh,
that.
is that? I've been thinking about watching
Is it ketchup spaghetti?
What?
Yeah. Oh, wait, is the ketchup?
Spaghetti with ketchup?
Oh, do
It
people do
looks
that?
like it, almost.
I had a friend when I was younger who would she didn't like the pasta sauce, so she would eat spaghetti with ketchup.
No.
Yeah, I know people who did that with macaroni and cheese, which is disgusting. Like they make Kraft macaroni and cheese and they put ketchup in it. It's so nasty.
Ugh.
That's so
I'm fine with that, honestly. That's a step
That
away
was
from
the
hot
scariest
sauce.
part of the movie.
Yeah.
Or the book was the ketchup sandwich.
Dan, I have to agree with you that it's like, we have this great picture. Why did you need to write like 4,000 words?
Yeah. It's funny that it's the
Hey, you know,
It's funny that it's the guy who did Jumanji and Polar Express. I didn't know that once again until afterwards, because that I feel like a hallmark of that guy's style is that it's not a lot of text, right? Like from what I remember, Jumanji is mostly they have this conceit of the board game that brings wildlife out into the real world, and then it's just kind of the kids going through those scenes. Same thing with Polar Express. It's just a little bit of text, and then I think the illustrations are evocative of enough to tell the story in itself. So right. So let's just say I'm not jonesing for an adaptation of this story anytime soon.
and it was, I believe was it not adapted? Was it not in the
is it in the Nightmares and Dreamscapes series? I haven't watched. Who's on that episode? I haven't watched any of those.
I'm not sure.
I think Flieger's on there.
None of us.
Yeah, I think Randall.
Yeah,
Flieger,
none
maybe.
of us. We've done our we've done our work.
I know Umni's Last Case is kind of the centerpiece of the Nightmares and Dreamscapes series. They got upstanding citizen William H. Macy to be in it.
Damn.
Ooh.
Oh,
How
that's
did they get
interesting.
that?
Yeah.
I know what, and this is
I don't know.
pre college cheating scandal William H. Macy, so that's a big get.
Now the audio version. Do you know who that was done by, Aisha?
For that one, what were we talking about?
For House on Maple Street.
Maple Street. It was, I want to say Yeardley Smith, but let me just check real quick. It was Tabitha King. That's why.
Oh,
Tabitha.
Yeah, the old
Tabby.
Her voice
King's
is
old lady.
She reminds me so much of like when I think of Boston accents, and then when I hear a Boston accent, I'm just like, or a Massachusetts or like a East Coast accent. It's just those heavy A's and
Where is she from? I mean, I know she's from New England somewhere, but is she from Maine or from Boston? Or I'm sure we can find out. But yeah, I actually
They
never
met at
heard.
school.
Yeah, they met at Arano. How do you say that University of Maine at
Grande.
Arono or something like that? I've actually never heard Tabitha King talk. I don't know what she sounds like.
I know. I'd be interested in
intense.
hearing.
Did it enrich the story for you?
No, I think it kind of detracted from me, but it had that folksiness. Her voice kind of like makes you think you're reading a book from like the 1950s, and like I don't know how to describe it. Maybe it's just because my aversion to that accent is very strong. Sorry for anyone who has that accent. It's just it's grating on my ears, and it was grating for me listening to her.
Anytime anyone
When
talks
that
about the
wraps up-
Boston accent, I remember the video of the men on the boat that are like looking at the sunfish, being like, "It's a baby whale, Jay. I call the aquarium."
I now think of was it you shared it back or who shared the Pot of the Problem video, the PSA, the
Part of the problem.
I think that's gotta be in New England.
I might
somewhere.
have shared it to the group, but it was shared to me from someone else. I don't know. But
This
that
is
is
a video.
something
Explain
else.
the video. It's two boys that are poorly acting out like it's an anti-drug PSA, or is it anti-sexual assault?
I got that it was anti-sexual.
I think it's anti-abuse.
Yeah, like speaking up
or
when
assault.
you see abuse.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe like one of we had these in my high school. These you would have to make a PSA, and then it was a competition. And I guess it's from a while ago. And I don't know when did it go viral? Because it had a lot of likes by the time I clicked on it, or a lot of views.
I have no clue.
Please
I
find
think,
it and
I think
post
Justin. Yeah, I think Justin shared it with me. But
if you just Google,
the kid breaks
"Whoa."
the fourth wall in the most unassuming way.
What is it? He's like, if you don't speak up, you're part of the problem.
Part of the problem.
I should. But I don't know. Should we be making fun of accents? I know it's a Boston one. I feel kind of bad making fun of
She's
accents.
from Old Town, Maine, so it's
Okay.
it's a scope of the whole East Coast, kind of. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I'll
really
just
feel,
wrap-
I really feel the
I
Boston
will.
accent is okay to make fun of.
Yeah, right. I think it's
Well,
like SNL makes fun of it. I don't know. I feel bad. I don't really have
On that note, I
20
will
minutes
wrap up the House on Maple Street.
Mac, you're
with,
part of the problem.
I don't mind. I don't mind. I don't mind Boston
Mac, is it the end
accents.
of the whole mess?
Yes,
It is. Thank you, Mel. That was
Wow.
see, that was a great transition. I don't need to be doing these transitions. Number 10 is the end of the whole mess. Now this, I like this one a lot actually. It really kind of grew on me. It reminded me a lot of like Survivor Type, and I think that in that sense, it is always fun just to see how these stories kind of unravel. I thought it was interesting that it takes place in 2006. So it's like the new
The future.
Escape from New York that takes place in 1996. Yeah, this one for me was up there. I think I had it like number 5.
Oh my god.
And I'm also very interested in watching the adaptation because Ron Livingston is Howard and Henry Thomas is Bobby in the story. And I think that would be a really cool version to see. Did anyone else enjoy this story, or am I just out here on dead end?
This is like the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Aisha.
No, I was gonna say it was 10 for 10 for me, so it just kind of lined up pretty well.
Huh.
Yeah, it was 11
Cool.
for me. I would say this was in my rankings. 11 is kind of the beginning of the stories that I start to like a bit. Yeah, I like what you say about Survivor Type, Mac. Just this sort of real life documenting what an ailment or a disease feels like. I mean, Survivor Type, it's him getting high and eating himself, and in this one, it's this kind of disease that I guess regresses people's general mental capacities. Yeah, and I think King's really good at that, at just sort of stilting the speech as it goes on, and just making, adding more ellipses in there, and just he's really good at capturing the fading away of that. I did think some of the lead up at the front of the story, like the ramp up to the exposition and everything, took a little too long for me. But once things started unraveling, both in the world and in this guy's personal life, that was when I really started to, I feel like it took on a lot of momentum that I really appreciated.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dan.
Definitely.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I hated it.
Where did you have this, Mel?
what
Where
number,
did you have this one?
Please tell me you have another thing written out, because
I don't. I know. I think all my good
Everyone
rants
sit
are
back.
done. It was number 18 for me though. Like I thought. Okay, first of
Oh,
all, it's just
wow.
like it was like a ripoff of like a Flowers for Algernon type story.
That's what
I thought that what you're
yeah.
talking about, Dan, is like I didn't think he did it well at all. Like I don't think that actually captures any kind of real lapse into early onset senilities. Like to misspell a bunch of words and like your grammar gets kind of bad. And I hated like the cinematic set pieces. Like you can just see King being like, I'm so clever, I'm gonna show them the wasp nest and like the volcano, and it's just like so over the top. And I found the voices so grating to me. Like I want whores to douche with it, this like water that he's made. I'm like, get the fuck out. Like talk about all concept and nothing else. Like this story sucked.
I can listen to you talk about this all day.
Yeah, I thought you had no rants left in you. There, I feel like I
That one wasn't written. That was fully off the cuff.
Honestly, I was kind of midway about it. That's I think why it came out for number 10. Was that I liked it did start really slow, and I wasn't really interested or paying attention as I was reading. And like what Mel said, I kind of was like, this is so hokey when they talk about going to the volcano and like dropping this in, and my head was like, how is he getting all this money so easily? And it was just like, it seemed too unbelievable and just kind of like a what do I want to say, like a Deus Machina or Deus Ex Machina of like everything just happening without like any kind of qualms or problems leading up to that point. The Flowers for Algernon part kind of annoyed me a bit because, again, like Namel said, it's not just you start to say words incorrectly or your grammar's messed up. Like there's a whole part to that, but I guess it was interesting in the sense of it plays to that fear that a lot of Americans have and deal with, or not just Americans, but people in general, of like having Alzheimer's, and when that's in your family and like what that could mean. But other than that, yeah, I was kind of like, it was all right.
Is the message here too that like we can't it's like humans can't actually be rendered peaceful without losing the essential intellectual part of ourselves or something.
Does, like, intelligence make you angry or something?
I mean, I got that it was just sort of humans being the more humans are the smartest species, but also that makes them the most violent species. That was just kind of generally what I got from it. I mean, it's funny. I hadn't really thought the Flowers for Algernon connection. I think because with this one, it's happening to the whole planet, and it's so steeped in violence, or in like a global sense of violence in a way that Flowers for Algernon for me is much more one person. Yeah, are you all fans of Flowers for Algernon?
Never read it.
Yeah,
I read it for school.
Yeah, I remember liking it. It's been a long time, but I remember liking it as a lad. But yeah, I don't know. I really, and now who knows? I've never lost my mind like the guy in Survivor Type does, or how anyone does in here. So who knows? I guess who knows if it's super accurate. But I don't know. The way he started breaking up everything language wise resonated with me.
I like Survivor Type for the record.
Oh yeah, no, and I do too.
And I definitely didn't like this as much as Survivor Type.
Right. I kind of felt like this for me, and maybe it's because it was similar to Survivor Type that I felt like it could have been in like Night Shift or something. But hey, you know what? We all have different opinions, and some of them are wrong, and no, just kidding. I did not like.
I liked it. Did not love it.
Oh,
But
Dan,
I think you're right, Dan. That now at this point,
You can love it, Dan.
yeah, at this point, it's whether or not you dig the gimmick. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I dug this gimmick. What can I say? Yeah.
And I don't know even if it was. I don't even know if it was the gimmick to me. I just think there were things. I mean, maybe they seemed theatrical, but. There's this one line in there where he says something about like just really nonchalantly about, of course, he and my mother both died raving and pissing their pants, blah blah blah. But just as if like that's just like a fact, like where you're just like, yeah, that happened, and there's just like no emotion there. It's just kind of like creepy. But I the only thing I didn't like about this story was that he talks so much about his typewriter. And I'm so over this, like the specifics. Not only does it date these stories so incredibly, like we know, okay, we got it. You know a lot about typewriters. Like this is like the 10th story where we got to go into the mechanics of the typewriter. Give it up.
Those old writers, man, they love their typewriters. I feel like that was the equivalent of vinyl enthusiasts for a little bit with writers, but writers older than any of us are. I feel like it was a thing of like, oh no, I gotta have my typewriter. I gotta feel that much closer to the story or whatever the thing is I'm writing. I don't think King, I would assume he does not write on a typewriter anymore, but who knows?
He might.
Well, we've talked about the end of the whole mess, and now we're going to talk about another end. This is number 9, Crouch End.
Wow, this one matches up for me too. I had it as number 9.
Let's see.
Oh, you had a number 9.
I did,
cool.
and I
where
wrote-
did everybody have this story?
16.
Yeah, I had it at 19.
16.
But I'm just, you know me, not that it's like a problem. I'm not a Lovecraft guy. I'm just never. I'm usually not on board whenever a writer's like, oh, this is my Lovecraft homage. Although I don't know, I liked the Underwater movie a lot. But King, anytime King like pays tribute to Lovecraft or any other writer, I think it just is a little tired. That's just me personally, but.
No, that makes sense. I think there's a bit of a like I'm in the club like feel.
Yeah,
If you have read like I used to be really into Lovecraft, and so I have that bias. Even though Lovecraft sucks as a human, I read a lot of his stuff when I was littler, and so my only note on this one was British Lovecraft ripoff, okay.
Yeah.
Now
I
this is all very interesting, y'all.
When like, is it Vetter? I was like, when Vetter disappears, that's the only part where it got good to me.
I will say,
you know,
I find it hilarious King's attempt to write British people. Like,
yes.
You don't mean you believe any part of it. Go on, sir. Pull the other one. Didn't say that, did I? No, but you're new here.
He lived. Didn't he live in England for a little bit? Like him and Peter Straub lived next door to each other. I'm not sure why he was over there, but didn't he live there for like a hot second?
I think he might. Maybe they were writing Black House together.
Or maybe I actually
I
may have
don't
been
know,
one
I'm not
of the
sure.
talisman,
I'd
yeah.
actually be surprised. This seems so clumsily done, but
You should
All right,
be
got
his
that.
advisor for voices.
Wait, who did a British person
Okay.
read this one?
Tim Curry.
Oh, this is Tim
Nice.
Curry. Oh,
Even Tim Curry couldn't save it for me. That was my other note.
All right, let me throw this out there. This is my number one.
Mac,
what?
I loved it.
Man, all right.
I
Mac,
loved
it's
it.
your head down.
Now, all right,
Where
now
are
here we go.
you?
Now,
Mac,
now
you better have
let me defend
a
this. Let me
defense
defend
right now.
it.
You better
okay?
have a defense right now.
I don't have it written out, but just let me go for it here, okay?
Off the cuff.
This was originally published in a Cthulhu Mythos book, which is full of,
Lovecraft bullshit.
the
Lovecraftian
Lovecraft
bullshit.
stories. So it was supposed to be that. So that didn't bother me at all. Any book that where some excerpts are used as lyrics for a British black metal dark ambient band, I'm on board. If you have ever heard the Access of Perdition, they use some of this story in their song. Check it out. No, but aside from that, no, I really loved it, and I think the thing is that sometimes I think I don't know where this came in the stories, but I was just kind of like it just hit me right place, right time. I think it really reminded me of In the Mouth of Madness, which is right up there with the Cthulhu stuff, the Lovecraftian stuff, and I just like that idea of kind of it did kind of remind me, and he went back, I think, and kind of changed some things for the Nightmares release. I believe it was a slightly different version, so there's a lot of like thinny things going on in between the dimensions. And I felt like the teenagers and stuff that like had like they looked like rats, and it was kind of like the low men, and
Yeah.
so I might have been projecting this whole like Dark Tower edge on it as well. Like they talk about this crazy 6-car bone white train moving fast through the city, and I thought that was Blaine. Like there's there were just like things like that
such
that
a tower nerd.
I know,
tower
such a
head.
tower head. I have a Dark Tower T-shirt coming in the mail tomorrow.
Ooh,
So
what's on it?
that paints
I
anything.
picture you reading it like, it's Blaine.
It's Blaine. I was yelling out to no one in my own apartment. There's no one here. I'm just yelling out, it's Blaine. Sad. But no, this one genuinely, I felt like there was some really creepy moments, and I think also part of me, and I know you said it didn't save it for you, Aisha, but I read that Tim Curry did the narration before I read it. So I had that in my head the whole time, and just thinking of the last paragraph being read by Curry, like, just gets me excited.
That's true. That's why I said it was good at the end. I love Tim Curry. Like, if Tim Curry came to my house and was like, come live with me, I'd be gone. So.
I like that we don't see what the husband sees, that he kind of has to just charge out of the hedge and be like, I'm insane now, let's go.
Trust me.
Yeah, very Lovecraftian.
Yeah, I think there was also, there was some mention of, I think it was this story. It was something that was mentioned in Needful Things.
Oh, Nyarlathotep?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, King just likes to put
I
Lovecraftian
know, but
gods and everything.
I was going to say, wasn't that from Lovecraft too?
Do y'all have you Lovecraft heads? Do y'all have like a favorite Lovecraftian god, elder god of the bunch? I know there's a ton of them.
Yeah, it's got to be Nyarlathotep or Dagon. I mean, I love the crawling chaos. Who doesn't?
She's like a fan of everything.
I know that fish people story, but I don't even think those are. Well, I guess they're caused by one of those gods. I don't fucking know. I don't like Lovecraft.
Yeah, that's Dagon, I think. Or actually, no. I think later adaptations made that connection. I'm not sure if the Innsmouth story actually references Dagon.
You know what? I dig when King has Lovecraftian elements pop up, like in Salem's Lot, for instance, or the short story Jerusalem's Lot. Even though it's about vampires and all this other stuff happening in the town, but the source of it is some kind of Lovecraftian god underneath the church. Like, that doesn't bother me as much when it's kind of repurposed to to do something else. But I think this one, and there's that short story N that's in Just After Sundown or wherever that collection is. I think because it just feels like such a tribute and nothing else is when it becomes uninteresting to me. And like you said, Mac, it does make sense because it was in a Lovecraft collection. But yeah, just I don't know. Maybe I tried to read it when I was like at the wrong time in my life. I don't know if I had to get into it when I was younger or whatever else.
When you were as young as me.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know. When did y'all get into Lovecraft?
I don't know. I just turned 13 now.
My Lovecraft stuff really does skate by on like a King's Dominion type of excitement.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Absolutely. And that's why I loved it.
Mac loved the craft.
I'm happy to stand by it, but I totally understand why people didn't like it. Let's move on to number 8.
Move.
The moving finger.
Yes.
Now, Mel, you had this one pretty high?
No, this was 14
right?
for me.
You had this lower.
14.
Okay.
Versus 8.
This was number 9 for me. So this would have been Crouching if I had my way. This would have been number 9. The thing that I liked about this story, there's a part where Howard pisses into the sink, and all I could think of was Dan.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Did you do that once?
A few times at
I don't see that.
At parties, the thing to do in college, in undergrad, and shortly out of undergrad.
The thing to do.
No. That's such a
Okay.
No, like if it was some people were repulsed by this, but I'm not gonna pretend I didn't do it. So if the party was really crowded and there was a huge line for the bathroom, a lot of people were waiting behind you, what you would do, and our co-host Dan Flieger was a part of this, sometimes if you're with 3 other people and everyone was cool going in a different part of the bathroom, you'd have one person pee in the bath with the water running, one person pee in the sink and the other in the toilet, and that way you're doing all the other party guests a favor by making the line go a little bit quicker. And you leave
You know what? That sounds really generous. And
I
applaud you.
I mean,
but
I've never done this at someone else's house, but if I've lived with multiple roommates and we had one bathroom, I've definitely peed in the sink because
it's
taking too long.
Same
I
concept.
don't know if I would ever do that at someone else's house.
Well, I've done it in many people's houses, and they it got out at it was a party in Chicago, our friend Tracy's house. Like a bunch of people found out, and they were like seriously repulsed by me. Like they thought it was rude and disgusting, and I kept trying to say, well, you spit in the sink all the time when you brush your teeth. That has way more germs in it than pee does, and you're running the water. It's not like you're just like pissing and leaving the drain stuff. Yeah, just like having a nice yellow river in there. No, but
I'll just leave some like glass cleaner or something next to my sink if you ever go.
Yeah, if someone wanted to do it in my sink, that'd be totally fine. I would not care.
When you only did this when a crowding was an issue, right?
Yeah.
It
wasn't like I had a lot of friends who would just like get drunk and just like pee like in the living room at party. Like they would just like pit there. I won't say any names, but I know a person who it was like almost a weird fetish isn't the right word. Like they would just get drunk and every time they would just like take their dick out and piss in the middle of someone's living room. Like no without fail. I know, it's weird, right?
Yeah, you gotta tell us who this is.
Off air.
Off air. It's a cool person. I like this person a lot, but it was something they did, and it did not match their personality in real life. Like they would never do something like that, like or in sober life. Anyway, so no, it wasn't like a thing I did because I got off on her out of disrespect. It was only if we can move the line along a little bit. So I think I'm the hero of this story is what I'm trying to say.
In my opinion.
Long story short, now did a moving finger ever come out of the drain and punish me? No. But I love this story and it's at number 7 for me. That's all I'll say.
Oh, nice.
Going back to the gimmick thing, and once again, I think it's just going to come down to taste for a lot of us. Like some of us like Lovecraft, some of us like multi-knuckled fingers. I don't know. The fact that this was... Once it was established that this thing was supposed to be so long and probably attached to it wasn't just a sentient finger, it was actually attached to a much bigger monster being in the sewers or whatever it was, that really freaked me out. That being said, I don't remember a ton about the characters other than the guy. I mean, the guy's kind of a classic king asshole slob to his wife, right? Like he's just insulting her intelligence at every turn, so that's not great. And once again, for the most part, the gimmicks that I really like in this collection it's not because I think the characters are awesome, right? It's not like Night Shift or something where like, oh man, these two characters in Last Rung on the Ladder are so memorable and are so complicated and have so much going on. I think most of these are run-of-the-mill Kingian losers. But once again, when it comes to that gimmick, I really like the finger itself really freaks me out.
This was one that I unconsciously plagiarized. Like when I was younger, I wrote a story about a worm sort of coming out from the drains with like no end in sight to an apartment, and it turned out that like this was a sort of normal thing, and like the people living there were like, oh, did you pay your tribute to the worm today? And they would like,
that's cool.
parts of their toenails and stuff.
What do you pay?
like bits of your body, like your toenails or your hair, like things that would go down the drain.
That's a good story,
okay.
no?
I think it was only because I had read this that happened.
What, you wrote this as a little kid or like recently?
No, this was like, I don't know, 6 years ago or something.
I like that though.
But then, after I reread this for like the second time, I was like, oh shit, like I think that's where it came from.
Check that.
But I agree, Dan, like it's almost like King is scared to create interesting characters for fear that they'll overshadow what is a simple and like admittedly freaky conceit. Like I think the finger is cool, but his notes suggest he like had an idea, wanted to write about how life is just shitty, but like Howard is just so bland. I don't understand King's notes in conjunction with the story. Like, is Howard really a quote good person that something bad is happening to? Like, what questions is this story really proposing? It's just weird how this whole collection. Go ahead.
No, I don't want to interrupt you. I just got the mediocre, like, white man kind of feeling from it.
Right.
And that's kind of a lot of feelings I have for a lot of King's characters. But you finish your story, and then I'll go into my little thing.
I just think it's weird how this whole collection, like, the pendulum of it swings from, like, very overt moralizing and allegory, like, here is a person who is so bad and they will get their comeuppance, or, like, here is a metaphor for aging, or whatever. It's like either like here's a big ass fable, or it's just like empty shock value. Like he can't do anything in between. Like he can't just be like, here's an interesting character and some nuanced shit happens to them. It's either like I'm going to teach you a lesson, or like I'm gonna spit in your face.
Yeah, no, that is a good point. I mean, because if you think about something like My Pretty Pony, which I loved. I know not all of us loved it, but yeah, falling more into this. So I'm gonna really lean into this Bradbury fable, there folksy, whatever you want to call it, and then something like Moving Figure, where it's like, oh no, it's cool because it's a giant serpentine moving finger, or Rainy Season, it's as frogs killer. Frogs that rain, with like sharp teeth. Wait, what do you say? Frogs that what? Frogs that bite. Yeah, and so
I think they bit them, right?
Oh, they bite them. Yeah, we'll get to that. I love me some Rainy Season.
They bite
them. But yeah, so it's very like it is interesting because I think even though I've said this before, I do think it's a stronger collection overall than something like Skeleton Crew. But Skeleton Crew is able. I think it has a lot more stories that have both the human and the monstrous in them in a way that's a lot more rewarding and developed, I think, than the ones do here. Yeah, they're either like, hey, they're either a nightmare or dreamscape, right? Is what we said last time.
True. Aisha, you were going to say?
If I take out a few things that I will get into later, purely on the standpoint of just like the finger coming out of the drain, because when I was little, I always had like this kind of fear of things in the bathroom.
Totally.
And I remember when I was younger, I used to think that some women had teeth in their vaginas because I would see like ripped up toilet paper on the floor. So toilet fear or toilet horror is something that occurs for me. And so just strictly on the story of like having this thing that could like, you're sitting on the toilet, I don't know what you could do, or if I'm like brushing my teeth, because I like to brush my teeth in the dark sometimes and early in the morning, and something comes up that I can't see and like attacks me. That for me was why I think I had it at number 3.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, wow, yeah.
Purely for that. However, if we like take account like the other parts for me, which was like I had the wife and the husband, so V or Vi or whatever her name was, her blatant racism of like the Vietnamese couple that owns the shop. Not only that, but also like I think it was Mrs. Lau who owns the shop, and like the dialogue that King attempts to have her like speaking, and it's just so cringeworthy. Like I literally could not sit through it, and it just seemed like he didn't. I don't even know. It just it seemed less like he was interpreting someone who was speaking from a different culture with like not English as a first language to being just like the most racist kind. Not racist. That's not the word I'm looking for. It just seems it was very bigoted to me the way he presented Mrs. Lau, and I was like not about that. I don't know how, but then also I find that when King writes for other people who are not white or from certain areas, his attempts to like convey how they would like speak and act reminds me of this interview that Richard Pryor did, where he was saying how like when he takes a role and he sees someone trying to write as a Black person, he doesn't go for those roles. He tries to go for things that are presenting people as human. And like for me, sometimes when I read Stephen King and how he narrates for other people, I feel like he's missing the point of them as being humans, and it's like then they're just like these stereotypes that people have of them. Like there was the Irish neighbor who he was like just talking about, and Feeney, and he was both in a way I want to say chastising Howard for his use of like this blatant use of how he talked about Feeney, I think his name was, like calling him bog trotter and drunk, but at the same time I was like he was just using these freely. And there's other stories where I'm like can't tell if you're trying to like say like this is inappropriate for people to talk, but this is just how people talk, or if you're just like having a way of getting out all your like, you know, you may not think, you know how some people don't think of themselves as bigoted but like have bigoted tendencies just because that's how they were raised and things like that. And so it's like this is his way of like getting that all out without any repercussion.
Yeah, he's like Quentin Tarantino like that.
Yes.
You're like you just really want to say slurs like
right? Like you felt good saying that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I mean,
I would say, sorry, Dan, but I don't think that King was trying to do this, but Aisha, like you were saying earlier with that other story, do you think that because these were like kind of awful people that you were more apt to be like, ooh, what's gonna happen to them, like with the finger?
Yeah,
like in a like they're gonna get something.
I
don't think King was writing it like
too.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish he was, but I think again, it's like you were saying, like this is the early '90s, and this is him growing up with
I also think that I don't want to say that he was doing it on purpose. Sometimes things are done very subconsciously, and like you don't realize it that you're doing it. It's part of, and that should be what I say. What I'm saying is that more like is he subconsciously not realizing that he's writing this in as such. He's trying to be this or present it one way, but subconsciously it's allowing him to do these other things. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not reading a lot of other people that write like this, but
I mean the whole the dialect thing I find is specific to like a not exclusive necessarily, but it is adopted pretty frequently by a certain generation of male writers. I mean, he's older, but like in the playwriting world, Eugene O'Neill, who obviously Eugene O'Neill is a great playwright, but at the same time, he was addicted to writing in dialect, no matter what the country or the race or whatever it was. And it just gets, I mean, beyond it being offensive, it's also just really hard to read at a certain point. You know, you're just like, right. Jesus Christ, because it doesn't really sound authentic because it's not, you know, he's not usually of the people of the background of the people he's writing. And it's no, like with King, I don't think he was intending anything bad by that. I think it was the opposite, obviously. But at the same time, like it doesn't age well, and once again, it comes off a little cartoony, and I wonder if it comes from this desire to exoticize things, or just like flirt with cultures that are your own, but only look at it from a weird spectator's point of view rather than really try and get inside the person. Yeah, he
just reduces them because it's all he knows how to do. But I don't like being like he was a part of his time. Like, I don't think that's a very good excuse, especially if you look at the history of dialect. Like, it's always been used to both other and mock. Like, if you look at it in like fucking Dracula, like that's what it's doing. And also, like, there are people in King's time doing a better job. So, like, and he hasn't grown out of it. Like, read the Hodges trilogy. Like, there's
okay. That was my next question, because I was like, maybe it's just me, and I'm reading with this perspective of nowadays of how we're working and how we read through things, and I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But thank you, Mel, because I still was like, I wonder if his current stuff is very reflective.
Yeah.
Of, like,
Hodges, it's almost worse because he has this black character who aside from the dialect is, you know, he's very intelligent, like he goes to Ivy League, he's like this computer program, like he actually has a
you
character.
You can see King doing that because like he's like, don't worry, this black man went to an Ivy League school, he's like a hacker.
And it's kind of like, if he just hadn't do that, okay, great, whatever, thank you, King. But then he does this thing where he goes into this alter ego of, and because I'm black, I can do this. I'm gonna do like an insulting, like, black unintelligible dialect, and it's this character. What's it? Tyrone Feelgood or something is the alter ego.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's right. And so he has him do it, and it's so, and like, King, why couldn't you have just stopped at the stuff that's true to his character? Not why do you have to use that as an excuse for him to do this alter ego?
Because he fetishizes black people. Like, he just loves to be like, I know jive.
Yeah.
The magical Negro is a thing that I discuss with my father a lot with King novels. So.
Yeah, Green Mile. And
What does your dad say?
No stranger
The Stand
to that.
too. Yeah. And so it's just this thing of like, and then once again he thinks because the other characters are telling this kid like, okay, come on, we don't need to do that. He thinks because these other characters are calling him out that he's allowed to do it. I mean, and I don't think he's done it in the past couple Hodges books, but I could be wrong. But still, yeah, like, to answer your question, that's pretty recent.
Someone was telling me that other books attempt to, like, overcorrect that.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested.
I know, it's like, dude,
I'm very interested in reading the Hodges trilogy eventually when we get there in 4 years, probably.
Yeah, but it's so and so it's just weird. It feels like sometimes it's like. And look, I'm not saying as a writer I haven't done problematic stuff, because I certainly have. But I think with the dialect thing, like, some people, man, it's like they just can't fucking help themselves, and you're just like stop it. And so anyway,
Aisha, what does your dad think?
Yeah, it is.
About
Hodges. Yeah,
I don't think he's read any of the new stuff. Actually, honestly, I'll have to ask him. I'm not sure. He like dumped his entire collection on me. For me to go through, so I have to go through all that stuff. But he loved King. I mean, at the same time, though, he finds him very problematic for many of the same reasons, as well as some others that I would love to talk to him about more, actually, and get his more perspective on it. But
did he give you first editions?
Some of them are. I have to go through the rest. You don't know where I live.
Yeah, I know. We've actually never met in person, so. But yeah, and it's
just
and I think that's the thing. I mean, we talk about it all the time on the pod. Like, I think anyone who wants to be a deep reader of King and really investigate him thoroughly as an author, yeah. And there comes an age, right, where we all have to reckon a little bit with, okay, I love this stuff about him, but this other stuff is kind of cringy. And yeah, and the dialect thing is one I think he hasn't really fully gotten over as he's gotten older.
And I know a lot of people. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
A lot of people are kind of like, you know, we can appreciate the art and separate it from the artist, and a lot of times that can be true. But especially reading about J.K. Rowling recently, there are ways in which these habits and the both subtle and overt bigotry are endorsed by the material in a way that makes it impossible to fully separate the art from the artist. Like what I was talking about last episode, King has no dissenting voice in how he treats women, fat people, black people, people of other races. It's inextricable, I think, and it's good to reckon with that. And I still enjoy a lot of King's work for the good parts in it, but I do think it is a cop out to be well, we can just talk about it and view it as something that is teasable apart from the art itself and from the author.
Oh yeah, same thing with Lovecraft, right? It's like
totally,
you can't. Yeah. It's like you can't. They didn't just pull that stuff out of their ass, you know. That's connected to how they were to who they are as people and who they are as writers. And yeah, and I think it's rather than just go, we're not going to talk about this other stuff because we just want to focus on the good stuff. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good just to recognize those things, and also that they are intertwined. You know. Sorry, Mac, what were you going to say?
Yeah.
I interrupt you.
No, I was just going to say, I was just going to eventually, I think this is all really great to talk about and super poignant and obviously deals with the story. I was about to start asking a question about J.K. Rowling, but that turns this into a totally different podcast.
Hey, she got locked in with her and King had some.
Oh, I know. No, I know the story. Yeah, I was going to incite some more discussion there, but this is number 8. This is number 8 for our.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hey Mac, trying to do a transition from that conversation.
But I do agree. I think whenever he does fall into those tropes, it's just like, what are you doing? Like you just don't need any of that, like, at all. Like the story is just about a finger coming out of the drain. Like, why are you introducing all these other characters and all this other stuff? I'm like, if the point was to be like, I want to illustrate how awful these people are and this is what's happening to them, but it doesn't seem like that. It just feels very like, okay, these are the kind of, I'm painting the picture of where they are, and it's like, okay, well, did you need to do this? I don't know. I think that all the finger stuff in this really works for me. I agree with you with y'all about the having a fear of something in the bathroom or even just drains. That probably stems from watching it.
Totally.
When the miniseries came out, and I was like 8 when I watched it or something, and I just remember being terrified of that kind of idea. Even now, when like the some odd bug maybe crawls out of a drain or something, it freaks me out.
Are any of you ever worried? I think about this almost anytime I sit down on the toilet. That like a rat will come through the drain and then like he'll swim around.
I heard about that they can swim up.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yeah,
is it true?
Well, if you think about it practically, the rat isn't going to do anything to you. It's just going to be stuck in your toilet. Like rats and snakes, I'm not worried about. Bugs that could actually like crawl up the side and like onto your butt, like no thank you.
I used to have that fear when I was in Korea, where they have like the squatting like home toilets. Oh, yeah. And I was like, this is too close to the floor, and I'm hovering. There's a lot that could go wrong.
Man.
Something I would like to see. Something I would like to see though is that this was filmed for the TV series Monsters. It was the series finale of that show, and it starred Tom Noonan.
Ooh, I love Tom Noonan.
And I love Tom Noonan, and I would love to see what they did with the finger.
Hey, Tom Noonan.
This was 90.
Show me the finger.
91, I think.
Tom Noonan, OG. He's like the first Thomas Harris villain on screen.
He's the first what, Dan?
They're arguing over Tom Noonan over here.
Wait, what did you say about? What did you say? What did
Nothing.
You said it works for the time. She can't repeat it.
Oh, wait, you said show me the finger? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, just let it. We got to live in the moment. We got to keep going. We have 7 left.
No, I was just going to say, because we were talking about
that,
Thomas Harris, because Tom Noonan's the OG Francis Dollarhide, right? Like, isn't he?
Is he in Manhunter?
Yeah, he's in Manhunter.
I need to see that movie.
Oh, you never seen it? Oh, Manhunter.
Isn't that sad?
I love Manhunter.
You know who else hunts men?
Do you know?
Mac?
Hey. Do y'all know
feeding them to you.
Who's also a Manhunter?
That's what I said.
Who?
The Night Flyer. At number 7, we have Stephen King's The Night Flyer, which was also adapted into a film, and I think I had to review that film for a story we did a while back about all the best adaptations to or the worst and the best adaptations, because I didn't really love the Night Flyer movie. I also didn't really love this story, and I don't know if it's because I read it after having seen the movie a couple times, but this was lower on my list. This was like number 14, and I know that that's probably jarring because I think some people really dug this story. Yeah, it just didn't do it for me.
I had The Night Flyer at number 1. It's my favorite story.
Number 1,
man. It was my favorite story now.
Someone had to have it.
Yeah, it was my favorite story now in the collection, and when I was younger too. I think that, I mean, all right. Once again, going to the gimmick thing. I love the vampire in the story. I love that it's grotesque. I know it's so corny, but I love the scene of it pissing blood and not seeing it in the mirror. I think that's
the urine vampire.
I think that's so cool.
I thought he's the least scary vampire ever.
I love the idea.
Did you hope he would pee in the sink, Dan?
I just think like vampires don't operate anymore like why
Okay,
why
Mac,
would you
if
be
you're
pissing
gonna
anything?
accept vampire sex, you gotta accept vampire pee.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe they like to eat food and pee just because it makes them feel real again.
Peeing into the sink would be fun. It would be interesting because it would be coming from the front, but you wouldn't see it in his reflection. It would be if I was a vampire,
Both
that'd be
Aisha and Dan have just added such nuance to this story. I just like maybe it's something they do to feel human. Like,
No, but for-
I did enjoy the pound cake in this where Dee says something about spraying about a pint of hot piss all over us. All I could think of is hot piss. The Yellow River Bomb Boys, yeah.
Speaking of pound cake, really quick. So I had to go to Chicago this past weekend for a death in the family. I stayed with my aunt, and I stayed in her grandkids have like a spare room on the second floor for whenever they come to visit. They weren't there. So I stayed in their room. You know, they had their toys or whatever everywhere, and they had like one of those like a kitchen set, and there was a box that said how to make pound cake on it, and a picture of pound cake, and I was like, oh no, bad. And I almost took a picture and sent it to you all, but I didn't want to like put my
set. Did you
I didn't want to put my cousins on blast like that, but it was just made me laugh. But Night Flyer. I love the idea of him like sleeping in the belly of the plane, the dirt, all that stuff is just great to me. And here's why this story is truly like my number one, is that I do think he's getting at something a little bit beyond just the scariness of vampires in this, with the press being literal bloodsuckers and everything, or tabloid people being literal bloodsuckers. Now I know that's super obvious, like it's the most obvious metaphor, and it does feel a little like, I hate reporters. I hate people. It goes back to the thing we were saying of King, like acting like he loves criticism, but also kind of hating the press a little bit. Even though the dude's not a book reviewer. That being said, even though it's obvious, I think this story just knows what it is, and it just makes no bones about being ultra violent and really heavy handed with its metaphor. And I kind of like the protagonist, as much of a scumbag as he is. He feels real to me in a way that a lot of the other characters in this collection don't. So it is a number one, as Larry Underwood would say, number one with a bullet for this vampire head over here.
I had it at number 5. I also really enjoy this story. I think that the guy is like the gross sociopath main character that's comparing like a landing to like being as smooth as a co-ed's breast or like a virgin's coos is like detestable, but in a way that is, as you say, Dan, like very consistent. And like the airplane details I thought were really good. I had written down everything you said. I love the icky vampire, the squirmy dirt, all the gore, the urine. That's like a great brand of vampire that I think, you know, is why we enjoy things like Fright Night too. Like when the vampire goes really gross, you're just like, oh man, that's a different sort of, that's a horse of a different color. And I think there's something fun about it. The tabloid man, like finding all the blood and guts he could ever want. Like, I mean, I agree. Like, I think, sure, that's obvious on its face, but like, it's something has grossed out the man who is incapable of grossing out himself with his awful behavior. And like, that's great.
Yeah, well, because it goes to what you guys were saying about Moving Finger, where you're like, why are these people gross and detestable? I'm not sure how that ties into what the scary element of the story is, right? Whereas with this, we totally get why, okay, this guy's nasty. He's a tabloid reporter. He is detestable in so many ways, but that totally makes sense because he's getting trumped by this. Yeah, like you said, this creature is even filthier than him. And a strong second for gross vampires, because people forget that, like, in Dracula the novel, I mean, yeah, he transforms into a younger guy at some point, but he's just an old predatory parasite for most of it, and he's really disgusting. And I like my monsters to be a little nasty anyway. I don't need the sexy vampires. I don't think vampires are that sexy.
When it goes above and beyond, that's like the dirt. He's sleeping in dirt. The dirt is also full of bugs.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah, I mean, when he gets close to the reporter, like. Yeah, I mean, you feel like you need a shower after that. I loved it. Mel, I'm glad you liked this story. I'm glad
we did it, Dan.
We did it. This is where we shake hands over the bus.
Aisha, where'd you have this one?
It was actually number 12 for me. It was like midpoint.
Okay.
I kind of felt before reading this, because I hear so much about Nightflyer and I'd never seen the movie. So I was like, God, if I don't like this, does that mean I'm not like, I don't have like taste or anything like that?
No. That's not what it means.
Even though I liked it, I wouldn't say that. Yeah.
I thought about it, but then when I read it, I think it was the skeeziness of D's in there. I think his name was like Dees.
Yeah, Richard Dees. Yeah.
And that to me in my head was also like Richard, because Dick Dees. So I was like, there was so much male dick like energy coming from this character.
That's
I don't know if y'all
it.
count that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it kind of was. It took me a minute to kind of get into the story, but when we got to the scene in the airport where like the Night Flyer is basically killing everybody, cutting through everyone, I like that kind of gore and scare as well. So that's why I think it was a little bit higher for me on my list, but not. I think overall as a story, I was just kind of like, it took a minute to get there, and then it just kind of fizzled out for me, because then he gets arrested right at the end.
And yeah, because I think he gets blamed for all the murders.
Yeah,
and, which I kind of like.
Really?
I kind of like that because I thought he was just going to get killed, and then he doesn't. He gets a fate worse than death.
Yeah, the 97 flick, which I think it was like a TV movie, I believe.
Yeah, I think they made it for theaters,
now Richard,
then it was direct to video or something.
Yeah, I think it was direct to video. Richard Dees was played by Miguel Ferrer, who I love. And I feel like I really wanted to love the movie, but I saw it a couple times, and I had to watch it again to do this review, and I don't like the film version, and so I think I'm carrying a little bit of that over into this, because I like the idea of the Night Flyer. I just don't think we get enough of him. Like, so much of it is just Richard Dees being a slimy reporter, and that's fine. But this also felt like this was like a novella being stuck kind of into a short story book, and I just felt like there's more there that could have merited maybe a cool book, but I don't know. I just didn't do it for me. I'm not into pissing vampires. You know, what can I
Jack
say?
hates the vampire Pete.
Too real.
The more I remember, the more I'm like convinced that Stephen King is obsessed with Dracula. Although I haven't read anything to that effect. Like I think The Outsider, and I said this on our episode about it briefly. The Outsider is purely Stephen King's Dracula, and I think this is a Dracula homage in that Dracula is an epistolary novel written by people who are like, we have to put this down, letters, newspaper clippings. Mm-hmm. It's all like a record from, primary sources, but never from Dracula himself. And he's very elusive. He's always like on a ship or in a castle. And like this had the same sort of energy, but like updated for this skis ball. I think King is like a big Dracula head.
Oh yeah, he talked in the beginning of.
I cannot believe you just said that, Mel. I cannot believe you just called him a Dracula head.
Drac head. No,
love it.
Yeah, because he talks about in Salem's Lot, he wanted to try and write Dracula for the 20th century, and I think Tabby said, oh, he'd probably just get hit by a cab if he came back in modern days or something like that. And I think in Dance Macabre he talks about it too. When I remember liking the movie, but it's funny, Mac, that you said, oh, I want more of the Night Flyer. Because when I think of the movie, I feel like all I can remember is that last 20 minutes or so with the Night Flyer. I don't remember much else about it. But I remember when my dad rented it.
It's not very good.
Yeah, like I remember the bath. I remember my hot piss scene, my piss mirror scene. But
a full pint.
Love that full pint of blood. Blood, is it red or yellow?
Yeah, the end of the movie. The end of the movie works. Because that's probably because that's the best scene in the story as well, in my opinion. But like, the
investigative stuff is not as
Yeah, I mean the movie, and this isn't a review about the movie, but the movie is basically just a lot of like hopping around hotel rooms and Dee's just like inner monologue, and you're just like, oh god, let's go, let's get something here, like let's move.
I remember.
But
oh, sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, I just wanted to mention that this there is some King's Dominion in here that I thought was of note, and that Dees has also appeared in another King novel called The Dead Zone. It's a brief appearance, but I like that use of the character in another short story. I always like when they do that.
Yeah.
And also the Inside View tabloid, as in like a bunch of different King properties, like Desperation, Insomnia, The Wastelands, Bag of Bones, Needful Things, Dr. Sleep, Elevation, like that tabloid pops up a lot, which is really fun. And also the great mention of Danny DeVito in Batman Returns. So we know this takes place in
our world.
In the beam of the penguin.
Beam of the bat. What
but what were you saying?
I was going to say, my dad ran this movie when I was a kid. And he hated it, and I didn't watch it at the time. But I remember he was describing the vampire in the movie, And he's like, how Dracula usually has a mouthful of fangs? This vampire just has one big long tooth. It's so stupid. Like he just hated the fact that the Night Flyer vampire in the movie, which I think looks pretty cool overall. But he has this like one giant tooth that comes out of his mouth that looks very funny. And so for a long time before I read the story, I just remember thinking about this vampire with a big tooth.
Well, you know what, Dan? I like big tooth people, but what I like more are the 10 o'clock people, and that's our number 6 story.
I thought it was gonna be
10 o'clock people.
I thought it was gonna be chattery teeth next. I thought that's what you're setting up. But you're like, nope.
I'll use the same transition for chattery teeth. The 10 o'clock people. Wow. This was a middling one for me. I felt like it started so strong. I felt like the first page, I was just like, what is going on? I love that you're just immediately thrown into this weird situation. But then it just kind of, for me, it just kind of becomes samey. I don't know, it gets so caught up in this other much larger story that I'm just not as interested in as the initial the first page when you just don't know what's going on. And I think with the short stories with King, I think less is always more in terms of the villains or the monster of the piece. I don't want to really know. Give me Bozeman, I don't want to know if it's real or not. Give me Bozeman or give me death. I just don't want to know it, so I thought it started off really strong, and I was all about it. I like the idea that, again, there's some Dark Tower stuff going on here where these things could be the Cantoi from the Dark Tower, which I really like. But yeah, it was a middling story for me. I had it at 13. But what about y'all? Anybody strongly love this one? Where do y'all have this one?
Oh,
I had it 6 for 6. So,
6 for 6.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I like you said, it started off really fast paced, and a part of me was thinking, and if you can have me put myself in a position of what would I do in this situation, when he has to go back into work, my face is very expressive. I don't know if I could have been able to get away. They would have figured it out because my face would have been twitching or doing something that I could not contain. So that was a constant thought. But as you said, it kind of, the thought in my head was just after a minute that escalated quickly, because then suddenly there's all this stuff going on, and you said, there's more. It's a greater conspiracy than we even thought, which was fine. But then it just kind of, I don't want to say de-escalated in a way, but it just kind of lost its momentum for me, and then we're just on the run, and I kind of lost interest and kind of petered out. I honestly don't remember how it ends.
Well, it is weird because it almost feels like the first chapter of a longer work or something, because it kind of ends, they have this one scuffle with them in the basement with the bat people, and then it's kind of they're preparing to do a greater battle, right? And then it just kind of ends, and but I don't know, I had it at number 9 because, like you said, I was with it for a lot of it, although it did kind of feel like a ripoff of They Live a little bit to me. I don't know if anyone else felt that, the John Carpenter movie.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, and but I kind of didn't mind that. Yeah.
But it felt to me more of a Invasion of the Body Snatchers-esque kind of thing going on at one point. Just how they're kind of banding together, and then they're slowly taking over the world. And but this is the one thing that I wrote down in my little misery section, because I still like to adhere to the categories as I read these short stories. But I wrote that
you're such a
the idea that quote unquote mid smokers are the only ones who can see Batman.
Yeah,
it's fucking weird and dumb.
What? Okay,
I think it's so stupid.
Everyone shut up right now.
It's like oh well only if you're trying to quit but can't really quit is what is the thing that I'm like
wait,
I'm like so the only people
that
can see the Batman is Mike. Come on, give me a break here.
No, that's such a cool. This story was number 2 for me, and my first note is in all caps. Now that's what I'm talking about.
It's such a weirdly specific thing.
It's amazing.
And I
I'm
don't
so
buy
mad
that.
this isn't
If
higher
you're
on
if
the
you're
list.
let me hold on. I'll let you go into your whole thing because I know you'll tear me down in 2 seconds and I
get
won't have
ready.
anything to say after it. But I feel like it's such a weirdly specific thing, and I think that people that can't decide if they want to smoke or not are not going to start the revolution and save the world.
That's
you know what I
true.
mean? Like,
I would not trust
I don't know.
them.
I just didn't buy it.
Mel, do it.
Mel.
Do it. Do it.
Tear me down.
I love this story. It's so sick and memorable. I've never seen They Live, but I do know, I know the conceit, and I get also like, I was thinking of like Animorphs, anything where like something evil is moving unseen and kind of occupying the bodies of people without being discovered. I love the Batman. I love the cultish vibe of the group, how they like covet power, but they're still utterly speechless and monstrous underneath. And this story is so concerned with class in a way that I think is actually a little bit complicated. Like, you get the simplicity of like, yeah, there's this grotesque head above an expensive like executive suit, and that's the surface level, right? But like, I love the conceit of a certain level of smoking addiction resulting in a subculture that completely transcends class, which is what King says in his notes. He's like, this smoke breaks cut through class and race barriers. It creates a sociological phenomenon. You've got the janitor out there smoking with, the high-ranking superiors of the bank. And it's very King. Like, this is the personification of people who have fucked up, but not irredeemably. They're trying to be better. They're in this very special mid-zone, and they're being tasked all of a sudden with a supernatural high-stakes mission. They're like his quintessential folk heroes, and the hope comes from how they risk it all for each other to share their secret, even though they know it could be like their undoing within seconds. I thought Pearson's relationship with Duke is like pretty affecting, if brief. And I really like how it sort of wraps up a whole novel's worth of events. I like the ending, how it's just like, and then he has to give up his whole life. He leaves his wife and child behind. I just really love, he sees the vice president on TV and he's a bat person and it's like they're everywhere. I just really liked all of the class stuff that was interwoven throughout it, and it rang very like true in times such as these. And to me, I thought King was at his best here, kind of using his obsessions and channeling them in a way that was very effective for me. I've always loved this story.
I hear you, Mel. I think that if you watched They Live, you would be like, oh, this really isn't original at all, and this is pretty much the same exact thing, except not that entertaining. I think They Live's fun on a group watch, but I don't think that's one of my least favorite Carpenter films.
I do like,
but it really is that movie. Even the class idea, and just like how they're like all the homeless, and I don't know. It just when it started turning into that story, I was like, been there, done that. Like, and then it was just a lot of that, and I was just not into it.
How do the people in They Live get the glasses or whatever they use? Like, how do they start seeing the bad guys?
I honestly can't even remember.
I think the smoking thing is really inspired.
But it is a thing where, like, when they give when the glasses, when people start actually seeing all this stuff for real, like there are like politicians that are, have the skeleton alien thing or whatever.
But that's a free market idea.
So it is very much the same idea, but I think the beginning, or just the idea of like the tumors bursting open on these things' heads and stuff, but then there's also a part where he kind of alludes to the fact that maybe they're not Batman and that it's just what our minds will allow us to see, which is kind of like a little bit like It, I guess. But I was like, just commit. They're Loman. they're
not Loman. They're their own thing. Get out of the
This
tower.
is a Dark Tower story, guys. Mel, if it's a Dark Tower story, I'll give it some more stars.
Don't do me any favors, Mac. I can love it all on my own.
I don't know if I'm trying. It's been a while since I've seen They Live, and I feel like They Live is getting. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mac. Isn't They Live the class divide? It's a little bit the opposite of this story with the class thing. Because in They Live, isn't it like all the people fighting against the creatures tend to be from working or lower class, and then like all the creatures are more of the bureaucracy in the upper class? Whereas with this, it's kind of more of a mixture.
Yeah, but that's the same thing.
It's been a minute.
No,
since I've seen
but a lot of the alien people are just like everyday people. They've just kind of infiltrated society so much, but they are absolutely like taking over, and and are seated in power. I think like either the vice president or president is one of the things or something like that.
Do you guys think? Because I think that a lot. I mean, I could be wrong because I'm not a smoker, but I feel like a lot less people smoke nowadays than when this story was written. Probably, I'm just guessing. Do you think there still is that culture of like the midday smoker or the 10 o'clock people, whatever you want to call it? Like, I wonder if...
Yeah, I think like restaurant culture has it. It depends on your
true.
Occupation a lot of the time.
I was going to say I feel like it's now more than ever less of a leniency for giving those smoke breaks. Like before it was, everyone pretty much smoked, so it was almost accepted that there are smoke breaks. Now it's like a smoke break was something you have to kind of fight for, or like kind of sneak out on or take in the middle between a certain break. And there was an interesting part, I think he says, where the smokers will basically be like, by 2020, they'll be the way of the dodo. So it was kind of like, was he this idea that people aren't smoking as much in the future? I don't know. I used to smoke, and that's why it made me wonder. I'm like, is it that, like, how would I have seen this in process? Like, if I was someone who used to smoke but doesn't smoke any longer, would I have like glimpses or images? If I was someone who was like in the middle of like totally quitting but had just stopped smoking, would I be able to see these people? Like, I kind of had some questions about how this kind of worked with like the nicotine chemical balance in your system and who was able to, and also how deeply ingrained were these fat people in the society? Were like kids? Could kids be them? Would it be adults? Like, how is it just bureaucracy or like bosses and like the government, or is it like the janitor? So that's what my curiosities were that didn't get answered, and that's why it wasn't as high for me.
Well, we know that they're all about power. I took it to mean that they were mostly in high status positions.
No janitors?
No janitors or Batman. But I feel like this story is about grassroots organizing. Like, this story is about grassroots organizing by imperfect people. It's very inspiring.
Mel, I like that. No janitors or Batman.
They aren't.
I think that this was a fun discussion. I think Batman have clearly won. There's no more smoking. A lot less smoking now. I think that they probably are taking over. Number 5. No transition for this. Oh, wait, I know. Oh, no. Let me go back here. You know what? Guess what keeps the smokers out?
God.
The rain. We're moving to number 5. Rainy season. Oh, okay.
I'm so mad that this is higher than the 10 o'clock people. I'm so mad.
Yeah.
I think that this does exactly what it's trying to do in a way that is short and sweet, and I dug it. It was my number 10, and it's clocking in at number 5. I think the frogs are real scary. The needle mouth. I just like page 426. It says John getting his toes bit by the needle-mouthed toad, then kicking the wall, breaking his toes, and the frog is great. I think there's just a lot of great little disgusting moments in this. It's such a weird conceit. I don't know. I was kind of into it.
So I had 2 different stories that were like neck and neck for number 1 and number 2 spot, and this is one of them. Because of like this idea of being amassed by something, and it's just so overwhelming. Like, on its own, one toad is innocuous. You can stomp on it, you can hit it, whatever. But like the fact that it's just so overwhelming, and like I have a fear. You guys remember the movie? Was it Willard?
Oh yeah.
Rats. This idea of like something so small being so dangerous, and the fact that there's so many of them is overwhelming, and basically there's nothing you can do about it. They can squeeze through every part. And then they're also vicious and biting your arms off or your fingers off, your toes off, and like just kind of smothering and biting you to death. So that for me was like this terror that I personally have. Like, if frogs or rats decided to like just like revolt and kill us all, like they would have no issue, I feel like. So
I love frogs or rats.
Frogs, I think they're or was it toads? Maybe it's toads that I actually don't like as much. But there was one particular
part.
Well,
these are toads, yeah.
These are toads in the story. Yeah.
Well, they're creatures. They're toad-like, I guess, but they're not really toads.
They're toady frog creatures.
I have to
with
say,
needle
though,
mouth
My favorite part, which was also my most disgusting part, and like my pound cake, was this line that he used to describe the day after when the toads basically melt into the ground.
I know what
he
you're gonna
described it as a white cloudy schmeg that looked like human semen.
Schmeg.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
that.
schmeg
That
is
old
that.
schmeg in the cemetery.
I died. And the dog farting in agreement for most things. That was his form of communication because it makes me think of my dad.
Wait,
Sorry, Dad.
wait, like your dad farting or your dad talking to dogs through farts?
The farting part.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't know if he's communicated with dogs, but we did have a dog that farted a lot, so maybe they did.
That's
That
beautiful.
was in my pound cake section.
It's so beautiful.
Dan, where did you have this one?
I was a big fan of this one. I had this at number 4. I like the frogs. The frogs were scary. They no, I actually did. All right, so
We're simple. We're
we're
simple.
we're folksy.
I just want some scary
No,
frogs
I'm over the
to
ghosts.
scare me.
Well, I think too, and it's funny because he uses this device in they got a hell of a band. It's like the couple getting lost, but I think because I don't know, maybe because of the characters are pretty milquetoast, but I think because of the lack of grossness surrounding them, I was really able to just latch on to the central monster of the story, which was these frogs. And I thought it was like the final scene of Magnolia, but from hell. Let's just put it that way.
It did remind me of that.
That was cool. No,
And Mel, you
it was. I liked it too because there was. I thought it was giving me the setup of they were going to fight their way out of this, or it was going to lead to some bigger thing. But I really appreciated how it was just the thing happens, they fail, they get eaten. We find out it was the sacrificial thing to keep the town going. Bada bing, bada boom. That's my kind of cake story. But once again, man, I like the
Mel?
nasty stories. Yeah. What about you, Mel?
I had it at
Yeah,
15.
Mel,
I
where
just
were
don't
you at?
care about this story. Gross toad, same day every year. The ritual. Cabin in the woods vibe.
Yeah, but
it's
but Mel,
forgettable at the end of the day.
I think what I drew from it was that the toads were like the middle class. And
I mean,
that,
you can make fun of my analysis until the toads come home, Mac. The fact of the matter is, the 10 o'clock people were robbed.
It's still pretty high.
Hey,
10
you know
o'clock
what?
people are still pretty high.
I can respect that. I can respect that.
Yeah.
I can respect it. I think that the rainy season, for me, it was just like, this is what I want in a short story book. Just like a simple story. I don't want to have to think too much, I'm not a very smart human being, and I just want to hear. I just
Not a
want
very smart.
these little mouth toads.
I just want the frogs to
just
be
biting
scary.
some people, and
I want the
That's
town to
what's
be
gonna be on my
creepy and tell me
gravestone.
to go away.
I'm not very smart. I just want the toads. Come on.
I just want the toads.
Well, you can have the toads.
I've got the toads. The toads have clocked in at number 5. I don't think there's much more to talk about with rainy season. Does anyone have any closing?
You know why
notes
there's not much
that
more to
they
talk
wanna-
about with rainy season? It's a simple, stupid
I have to
story.
say this, Mel. I have to say this. It was read by Yeardley Smith, so imagine Lisa Simpson reading this story
Oh
to
my
you.
god!
Yeah, I can't do it.
Oh, it's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it just raised the level.
I think too, hey, look, 10 o'clock people's number 6. That's pretty high, right? It's still, I think, and rainy season's
It's an
high.
insult that it is below many of the ones that we're
Look,
about to talk
hey,
about.
try having to defend My Pretty Pony at number 20 or how?
Yeah, I would never do that, Dan, for reasons enumerated in the last episode.
True, touche.
Well, we've all had our fun in the rainy season, but you know who didn't have fun?
The children.
The little children. Number 4, suffer the little children. This was originally, I believe, supposed to be a night shift, but the editor opted to cut this thing,
It would make.
and they put gray matter in it, and they put gray matter in its place.
I mean, they're kind of
And
similar,
I think
like
not-
a little similar. I think gray matter in this one.
Yeah, I like the mention of Juniper Hill. I like the idea of the teacher just like, again, for me it's just like is it or is it not really happening?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is something that's really interesting to me. And whenever that pops up, I'm kind of all in. I just like the idea of, that we just aren't really sure if she's really seeing this. And it reminded me of like Frailty. Y'all ever see that
Love
movie?
Frailty.
Yeah. And just the idea of like, oh, like if this is really happening, then you need to kill all these children. But if it's not happening, like
You just killed
you
a bunch
are
of kids.
you are the biggest monster. It's just like it's creepy to be on that edge trying to figure that out. And this I really dug this. I thought it was really creepy when she's just in the corner of her eye. She thinks she sees like these kids' faces changing. Just creeped me out. What can I say? Creepy kids
Kids are scary.
can still be creepy in
The
short
black-eyed
stories.
kids.
There are a lot of us now. This is a great line. Would you like to see me change?
Yeah, that would no.
Oh,
As someone who's a
yeah.
former teacher, this creeped me out because like there are times when kids will turn on you and like say creepy shit to you, and you're the only one there, and you can't talk to someone else about it because they won't believe you that this child said that, but they have said some messed up stuff. I had this actually pretty high. This was my other combined for number 1-2 spot for the very reason that was Mac talked about, where it's like you have. I don't trust kids. They're shifty anyway. And to have them. And then when I remember watching, like, when I was a kid, Children of the Corn, and just, like, one of the horror motifs that I also terrify me are just, like, kids going crazy and killing you or, like, being possessed by something and murdering you because they're tiny. So you feel bad for, like, kicking them or attacking them back, but, like, they're trying to kill you. And again, that idea of like, is your mind going or is this real? And you can't really be sure. And it's like, if I don't do something, how terrible will this be? And granted, I did not like Miss Sidley. She got what she deserved in the sense of going to jail later or to the psych asylum later, mental institution.
She goes to Juniper Hill.
With all
Yeah,
the Harry
there you go.
Juniper Hill from It. Yeah, the old nut house. Yeah, the old nut hatch.
I kind of was hoping the kids were going to eat her or something. So I was a little disappointed that she didn't get, like, eaten. But, because that's where I thought they were going. Like, the way they described the kids' faces and how it would be, like, stretched out and pulled. I was expecting them to, like, their mouths to enlarge and, like, eat her or something like that.
No, she just gets surrounded by, quote, cataclysmically retarded children. Just like, God, King, what are you doing?
God.
Oh.
That was hurt.
And that's Stephen King. This is a
Right.
Stephen King podcast. And
Good night, everyone.
I thought this was number 12 for me. It was just right smack dab in the middle. I wrote largely dumb, but
middle.
classic King. Like, there's like I do think though you guys are hitting on like
classic King, and that's where we're gonna put classic King dash Mel.
there's a
this episode.
real dread in the conceit of like kids being alien creatures, and I do think the dialogue that they say is like pretty freaky. And if I had been a teacher and I'm reading the story, I think it would have probably done me in a little bit more. The notes say, he says in his notes that this story has no moral value whatsoever. And I think I agree. Do you think they cut it because she shoots a bunch of children in it? Like,
from Night Shift, you mean?
I don't know.
I mean, Night Shift's pretty dark in its own right. I don't know, though. I mean, if they swapped out with Gray Matter, I was going to say, maybe they only won one kind of alien-ish story. But I mean, Night Shift's got a bunch of alien stories in it, so it couldn't have been that.
I know. I think that they just wanted... I think Bill Thompson, who was the editor, just wanted to see an alien eat a cat. You know?
For Gray
I think
Matter,
he's like, I don't know about these kids, but I want to see that gray matter eat that cat. I really love the ending of this story, where Buddy Jenkins it says in the end he was hardly able to take his eyes off them because he was starting to doubt whether or not they really were these creatures, or just the idea of like, their face changing and the mouth opening, and you see the real children are still there inside.
Oh yeah,
these
that's
things.
freaky.
That was sad. Yeah.
That is creepy as hell. It was just like a really original like idea, I think, and it's short. It doesn't, it leaves you wanting more to an extent, And I was like, okay, cool. You don't have to go into the history of this teacher's, or the neighbors that she's racist towards or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to like add all this other like filler stuff. I just think it's kind of focused and and does what it needs to do, and that's why I had it at number 3.
Whoa.
Man.
Yeah, I had it number 13 for similar reasons that Mel said. I wasn't super arrested. I mean, also too because the whole aliens walking among us, even if it's kind of ambiguous whether or not these ones actually exist, it felt very similar to 10 O'Clock People, which I liked a lot better. And something like Body Snatchers and They Live and whatever else. So I mean, I didn't hate the story by any means. But yeah, it didn't go that extra mile that something like My Pretty Pony does, So
And it comes full circle.
Number 13 for me.
Would it persuade you if you knew Whoopi Goldberg was the voice for this one?
Wow.
Really? Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Mother Abigail herself.
For real.
Mother Abigail.
No joke.
I'm really curious how he got people to read each story, and did they get to decide, or did he choose?
I
Or...
know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Truth be, no, I mean, honestly, Whoopi Goldberg reading this, yes, that would probably knock it up a few notches for me.
It's good.
Yeah, no, he does.
Yeah,
King, I
I'm
mean, hey,
interested
King has
in
always
hearing
kept
that for
powerful
sure.
company, I think. You got Whoopi, you got Tim Curry. Had Whoopi Goldberg done any King-related properties before The Stand? Probably not. I don't think so, right?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think this is it.
Because some of the people,
or The
Yearly
Stand,
Smith, you're like, oh, okay, he directed her in Maximum Overdrive, and Tim Curry was in It. Tabitha King he's married to. David Morse is a big King associate. But yeah, I wonder, Whoopi Goldberg.
What's it? Joe Morton did 10 O'Clock People.
Oh, I love Joe. Oh, Joe Morton's awesome.
See, that would have been good. Yeah, I would have. Yeah, he's.
Has Joe Morton ever...
Oh, that would have done it
was.
for you, Mac. That would have.
Well, I think it would have been. I don't remember where I had that story, but it would have been maybe one step up.
Has Joe Morton done
With the Joe Morton gets another star.
I feel like...
I feel like he's done King before. I think he played in It. He was the older version of
Mike? No, I think...
Of Mike.
I think
Yeah.
that was...
No, or am I thinking
That was
something
Tim
else?
Reed, I think, was the older version of Mike.
Is the older
yeah,
version?
guy for the dad from Sister, and right? That's what Tim Reed's in.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But wait,
you're
Joe
right.
Morton. I feel like Joe Morton's had to have.
He's
He
done
seems like an
Joe Morton's big tipping of the hat was Terminator 2.
Terminator 2. He's excellent in that.
And Speed. I was think the first thing I saw him in.
Blues Brothers.
as a kid.
Blues Brothers 2000. Arguably the.
Terminator.
And he's done a ton of. He's just done a ton of stuff.
Maybe I'm
when
just
I-
thinking of everything
when I
else
type
he's been
in- When I type in Joe Morton Stephen King, all that comes up is the audio book of Nightmares and Dreamscapes. I feel like he's like the perfect actor for a Stephen King movie though. I feel like
Right?
he
Like I would have seen him. in
Oh,
something.
totally.
he's great. I love Joe Morton.
I want to see him in a Darabont joint.
Yeah, do
I think that would be.
he just has that.
Real
He has
solid.
that groundedness that I think lends itself well to King movies. I'm just looking at his old Wikipedia and seeing. Wait, no, he was in At People.
Oh, I
Wait, he
also
was in
really-
At People. It says.
Oh,
Was he in At People?
Was he?
I think it was the teacher. Maybe. No, but isn't David? Let's see. At People.
the principal maybe.
I thought David
He would
Dan
probably-
Rickler. Who's Dan Rickler in At People?
Oh, you're right.
yeah. Who's Dan Rickler in At
I
People?
don't know.
Wow, this is bad that we don't know.
I know. I feel
I
No, we're gonna have to
definitely
do.
don't know.
We're gonna
I
have to go
haven't
back
seen-
and.
maybe he is the detective.
Yeah, we're all have to go watch App People
I think
tonight.
I think he's a detective maybe in At People. Let's see.
That's very possible.
Right.
Well,
okay,
while
let's
Dan-
keep going.
Dan,
Yeah.
while you-
yeah.
While you
Sorry, I
research
was
that,
distracted.
we're gonna go to. There's a little gas station ahead. There's a little shop, and I'm kind of itching for some some gag gifts, and we're moving on to number 3, Chattery Teeth.
There's a little shop. You sound like Christopher Walken.
There's a little it's a little shop. It's got chattery teeth. I really didn't want to like this one, but man, it just won me over.
I have the same
I just
opinion.
Yeah.
I think it was for me, and I kind of a little room 237 here, but towards the end I kind of was is this a sister story to Battleground, whereas these chattery teeth are from the same toy company that are actually alive. And so, and then once I got that into my head, I really kind of enjoyed just the craziness of this weird idea. And when these things chomp down on the penis and the balls,
Yeah.
On the penis and the ball.
And the walls, both parts.
just like,
Well,
kill me.
He goes
kill
to
me.
great lengths, and I think this is a huge testament to the story. He goes to great lengths to describe how these are actually metal and how they have a tongue, and like, because I kept
And
thinking
how
of
big they are.
Yeah, like I kept thinking of like the plastic,
Yeah.
teeth with the feet that you would get at the novelty shop. But I think he actually does a really good job of describing how dangerous they are. And even though they're in a weird way kind of the hero of the novel and they help this guy, I kept thinking they were going to turn on him, and I kind of loved that they
Same.
didn't. That made them cute
Yeah.
in a way, like it was a dog protecting him.
I like.
We all want a pair.
Yeah, I like the teeth. I like that they're agents of justice for this like boomer who's like out on the road, like young people today. And I will say though, this is I think the third Fat Myra that we will encounter in King's Dominion. There's
Yeah.
this Myra, there's Eddie's wife, Myra, the hog, and
Myra,
there's,
I was thinking about Myra the
hog.
hog today. That term.
the
I
wife
forget why.
in Word Processor of the Gods. That's the one where he like rewrites his life, right? Like in
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
a Fat
Is
Myra.
there a Myra
What
in
is
that?
like?
But she gets skinny in this one when he comes back years later.
I'm just like, what happened to King and some woman named Myra?
That is really weird. I want to go back and look at word processor, and if that's Myra, then we've got to keep track of this going forward.
Myra,
Did he date anyone before Tabitha?
I mean, I'm sure he did. Yeah, I mean, they started dating pretty
Oh,
young.
King was a ladies' man. King was dating them all.
But I think
before
this is one in
Tabby,
which
I'm
the
sure.
gimmick was most successful for me. I had it at 8, which isn't that high, but
Yeah.
like given that it was kind of a gimmick only story, and I thought he did it with aplomb, and it's such a weird. It's like one of those things that you'd hear that someone would write as a parody of a Stephen King story, but he's like, no, I'm actually gonna do it.
Yeah.
And
I like this
he
idea.
commits.
Well, yeah, because that's the joke, right? It was on like Family Guy, so it was like, oh, this story is about a lamp, but it's haunted, or it's about
Yeah,
this, but it's
a
haunted.
couple
and
gets
this is
attacked
like,
by a lamp. Ah!
yeah, and this is like Chattery Teeth, but you're no, he actually makes them scary, and I think too, King's.
Yeah.
I like this in the Mangler, but a lot of people don't. They think it's silly. He does that thing in the end of the Mangler where the machine from the laundry press or whatever, it actually escapes from the shop and like stalks this guy to his house. And some people think that's really silly. I think as Randall's like, oh, we're supposed to like picture this big laundry machine like walking down the street. But I don't know. There is something about really freaky to me about supposedly animate objects
Yeah.
traveling a long distance. That's really freaky to me. And I think this is another example of that. Where like, oh no, this thing like found its way through the desert all the way like to dispose of this body, then got all the way back to the shop. I think that's it's very disturbing to me. So yeah, it really hit home.
Yeah, I think there's a moment in the story, and I didn't write this down, but it's like coming to my head, like where like he sees the Chattery Teeth like on the hill.
Dragging the body
then-
off.
Yeah, and I just that's kind of like when you have that little moment after it's out of sight, where you're like, did that really happen? Like you're just grappling with reality. And then I just liked it. I just dug it.
Before people yell at me,
I did have a couple of.
I
Sorry,
just want to
say
say
again?
the wife is not named Myra in Word Processor of the Gods. It's Lena.
Yeah, close
There's
enough.
only two.
Yeah.
There's only two
The
Myras.
conspiracy is
for
over.
Thank you for clearing that up for sure. Yeah, that was going to be, people would have gotten really vocal about that on the pod. I think that I had a couple of little connections to King that aren't really connections. Page 180 is the coy dog Wolf is pronounced Woof, and I thought maybe it's actually Wolf from Talisman. And on
Matt,
page
can you only enjoy
201
things when they're connected to other things?
Mac loves he loves the beam.
I'm so trained to look out for this King's Dominion, Page 201, he picked up the teeth, and it felt like a human jawbone that had tried to speak to his hand. And if we all remember, in the Dark Tower, the gunslinger carries around a jawbone that speaks to him. Not actually speaks to him, but speaks to him in another way. So I thought that those were just two fun little add-ins there for Chattery Teeth at number 3.
Wait,
That was fun. I'd like to see a sequel to Chattery Teeth.
I'm back on
Yeah.
my Myra train.
Chattery.
Oh, no.
There's a
Do you have
there's
more
one,
do you have
the
more
Myra
Myra?
in Needful Things is like a
Oh,
Presley
yeah.
fan who sucks.
Oh wow.
Oh,
So,
those Elvis
vindication.
Presley sex fantasies. Oh boy, those
Yes.
are yeah.
Well, I don't know about y'all, but in this quarantine, I've been getting a lot of home delivery. That's number 2. Our number 2 story is home delivery, which was my number 2.
It's my number 8.
My number 6.
I really dig it. Oh man, it just felt like a George Romero, like Night of the Living
Yeah.
Dead-esque kind of thing. Like the story, just like kind of how all-encompassing it is. You know, it reminds me of like the beginning of Dawn of the Dead, where they're just kind of hopping all over the country of the news channel and stuff, and you're seeing all these things, all this stuff happening. The way that it unfolds, I think, is really interesting. In such short period of time, I'm invested in all these little characters, and that's a win for me. Let's see. So everybody had it at like what?
Well, Dan, what did you
Someone said
have it
number
at?
6.
I had it at number 8.
Oh yeah, we're all in the same.
Yeah,
This is
we're
one
all-
we
Yeah,
actually
right.
kind
Yeah,
I
of
was
so
number
yeah,
8
okay.
as well.
So finally, when we get to the number 2 story, we all kind of agree that this should be in the top 10.
Yeah. I thought it was
There's no-
like quaintly charming after a bit of a rocky start. I think he actually pulls off the allegory in this one, and it's because he lets character win out over the conceit here, as you say, Mac. But the conceit is
Yes.
actually strong too. I think it's really cool how the body parts keep moving. That like differentiates these zombies a little bit. I think I like the woman. She's like the main character is like used to being abused and ordered around by men, but she has to confront that sort of undying cycle in its most undead form, and it's fitting that it's actually the man that she loved and not her father, but she recognizes it's not actually the man that she loved. It's like a fucking zombie. And I think in a rare example of King kind of maybe anticipating a blind spot, like I could gripe about the essentialism here, like, you know, the fact that a baby gives this woman purpose, or the men of the island are tasked with like keeping her safe. But I think the story actually provides its own defense against that gripe, because it talks about how isolated the island is and how like feminist pamphlets like wouldn't mean shit to them. And like that's probably just true. I don't know how to feel about the like Event Horizon footage like stuck in the middle of it. Like the worms from space.
Oh yeah, with the
Yeah,
the
that threw
star
me off.
wormwood.
But it's like fine, whatever.
Yeah, for me, it just like I think it. Even jumping to that, because when it all came back, I was like, okay, if we had just all of a sudden the rest of this thing was just on the spaceship or whatever, like I would have been like, okay, what are you doing? But yeah, I like the idea of star wormwood orbiting Earth. It that reminded me a bit of Trucks, just like this weird event that is causing this thing, these things to come alive, and yeah, I thought it was some pretty good gruesome stuff going on with the creatures crawling out of the graves, tearing off their fingers in the process, and I like when the husband attacks the home. I think that's really creepy. Also, because Mel made a point of this, I really only love this story because there's a couple connections to other King properties. No, I'm not. I'm kidding. But there's a mention of the number 19 a couple times, which I thought was fun. Maddie was 19 when her father died. And also, George Sullivan died while bowling lane 19. So that was always just a fun little sweet treat for the King readers out there. Anybody else on number 2? Is this going to be the one we talk about the least as we get to number 1?
Yeah, I liked it. I think I had 8 for it, and it just kind of the fact that like Maddie starts out. I kind of was yelling at the book as I was reading it of like her and her mother at the point where they just like ask what do they do now that the husband's dead or that the father was dead, and I like that the progression of Maddie, like you don't see it. It just is kind of like you see her and then the story jumps to like the zombie apocalypse happening, and then you come back to her when this guy comes to like check in on her, quote unquote, and make sure that she's doing okay because she's this poor woman who couldn't really just stand up for herself or make decisions alone with this baby. She's probably dead already, or we just need to protect her. And there's a point I think that they also talk about how like we give the women guns to shoot, but we're not going to give them the most powerful things because they're not going to be out here defending. And I was like, if it was a zombie apocalypse, I feel like everyone who is able should be out, and be useful. That's just how I would plan my little camp. But I think it was nice that you came back to Maddie, and she has this like little secret that basically her husband came back and she did what she needed to do to protect herself and her child.
Yeah.
Granted, it shouldn't be that's the only reason she's living, but I was hoping that maybe that her fighting her dead husband, it wasn't just about her defending her baby, but her also like taking the idea of like, I have a life, I am a person who can think and defend myself. So that's why I think it was
Totally. I said I had this at 6, but it's actually 3 for me. This is number 3.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think the only reason I had this at 8, and I really enjoyed the story for everything you guys are outlining. The only reason it's at 8 and not a little bit higher is because of the jumping around a little bit, both with the timeline and with the Wormwood stuff. But yeah, overall, I mean, I still think this is a really good one.
I like how they anticipate the zombie. They're like, we have to set up around the grave. Like, yeah, you do. Like, that's just practical.
Yeah, and it's like the little small town mentality. Like they're just like they were waiting for like a moment to do something like this. You know, like it's like I like that line Uncle Frank says. And he says, "I ain't got time to listen to you play fiddly fuck on the mouth organ."
That's a very Kingian phrase. I kind of that's a little bit of Brandon Folksianus I love, like the weird. Like,
and there's a little. Scary stories to tell in the dark ending, like a little last line where it says, Frank had meant to stay dead, and that was just what he did. Home Delivery coming in hot at number 2. What can I say? I love zombies. Clearly King does as well. But you know what King also loves? Vampires, and we've talked about one that actually that apparently could be the same vampire from the Night Flyer. That's Popsy at number 1. Our number 1 Nightmares and Dreamscapes story, Popsy.
What did everyone rank this?
This was my number 4.
This was 4 for me too.
3 for me. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
So none of us. So 3 was the highest
crazy.
ranking it got, but it ended up at the top of the list.
Number 1.
I think everyone's number 1 and 2 and 3 were probably just like all over the place.
Yeah.
This has been a really interesting short story collection, and obviously we'll talk about that with our final thoughts. But Popsy, short, sweet, scary, fun. This reminded me of like Fright Night horror, like vampire stuff, and I dig that. I just love like the unassuming-ness of like this kid being a vampire and just not even realizing it, you know. Let's see, what do I got here?
Mac, the King's notes basically confirm that it's the same vampire. He wants him to be the same vampire as the Night Flyer.
Yes.
Which doesn't make sense to me because if the Night Flyer can fly himself, why does he need the airplane?
Because he likes to travel in style.
Yeah,
he's got to sleep though.
He's into the style of it.
Maybe the sleeping is part of it.
Right.
Maybe.
I like that I'm coming to the Night Flyer's aid, even though I didn't like the story.
It's like a mobile home, but in the air.
Yeah. I think it's a good way to look at it.
I also think the Night Flyer kind of, and maybe this is just how they paint him in the movie, but does he just always look like crazy, creepy, freakishly with the tooth and everything?
Yeah, I don't think that's what I like about him. I don't think he ever looks like a debonair Transylvanian prince.
Yeah.
The way they describe him in this, he seems like a grandpa.
Right. So maybe this is like pre-grandpa getting into the nasty.
That could go all sorts of ways.
All right.
Oh,
but I it is funny in this one how I like this about it, especially with it's right after Night Flyer in the collection, right? I think.
Yeah, which is also weird.
I like how we get like a little bit we humanize the vampire just a little bit by showing he has like a little weird vampire grandson. So all right, something I was wondering about, and I was thinking this because I'm watching the Hotel Transylvania movies starring Adam Sandler right now.
Oh God!
And so,
thanks for working that into the number 1 story.
So Dracula in that movie, him and his wife have a kid. And it's a vampire. Like if the kid is born as a vampire, and Popsy in this has, and now this doesn't necessarily have to be his biological grandson. It could have been a near dark situation where they kind of took in a kid or something. But I guess I kept wondering, like, oh, well, so is this a thing where vampires reproduce and have a family, or is this just a kid that Popsy made into a vampire at some point? It doesn't really matter, but I was just curious.
Yeah, I don't know, and just the idea that is this kid gonna turn out and look like gross old Nightflyer?
Yeah, like does
like what is the
in Hotel Transylvania the baby grows up like she
We're
ages
operating by Hotel Transylvania rules.
she ages into a teenager, so like the vampires age in Hotel Transylvania, albeit slowly, I think. So in this one,
but if we remember Anne Rice, her vampires don't grow old.
Exactly.
So who knows?
Same thing in Near Dark
stuck like
too.
Claudia. Yeah,
Claudia, and then in Near Dark, there's Homer. So. Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, it doesn't bear on my enjoyment of the story. I was just curious. I was wondering about the exactly. Was this kid a familiar, or was he a vampire, or what? Bottom line is, I think once again, similar to Nightflyer, we have another scumbag at the center, and a scumbag in a much darker way, of course. But that's why. But once again, I think King is setting that up so this guy can get his comeuppance, which he does, of course, when he meets, and also. Just the way they describe Popsy, and this is super freaky, it being this dark shape and then being this like giant bat that comes across it, and also to the kid, the entire time the kid just going, oh my Popsy will be here, and you think it's this kind of nonsensical just kid being a kid thing, and then the fact that he's super super scary. So yeah, it's a nasty little story, and I'm a nasty little guy, so I loved it.
I'm a nasty little sink pisser, and I loved it.
I'm a nasty little boy who loves pissing.
Oh boy!
Sinks. Yeah, I loved it.
Love it.
I thought that we got there's a lot of missteps here. We got a lot of dumb Sheridan's backstory. Like we can get these details without actually getting stupid flashbacks that justify his link in the pedophilia chain. Like we get it. He's
you knew what was
gross.
happening.
Yeah. But I will say that so much of this story is redeemed and made good for me by its last line, and which I will just read for real quick. Popsy is about to cut his throat with his thumbnail. His throat was cut with that nail before he realized what was happening, and the last things he saw before his sight dimmed to black were the kid cupping his hands to catch the flow the way Sheridan himself had cupped his hands under the backyard faucet for a drink on a hot summer day when he was a kid, and Popsy stroking the boy's hair gently with grandfatherly love. And it's so good. That's such a great... The monsters are performing a human gesture that transports the human monster back to childhood and humanity. It's great.
Yeah.
It totally makes the whole story.
Clap, clap.
That's our number one story, Popsy. Now, I want to go around really quickly. Just quick final thoughts. Nightmares and Dreamscapes. Did it live up to the hype if you haven't read it? And if you have read it, how was it the second, third time around? Mel.
Okay. Had read it before. Remember liking it as a child because I think those gimmicks really caught me and hooked me good. This time around, it was really a schlep. I think part of that is because the stories, by and large, I would say the 6 stories I really enjoyed are my top 6. Going up from the 6: Sneakers, The Night Flyer, Popsy, Home Delivery, The 10 O'Clock People, and Head Down. Keep your voices to yourselves. And other than that, I mean, that's only a quarter of the stories, and they're kind of spread out, and I didn't enjoy most of the other ones, really. And I think this really was representing a turning point for me personally with King. I think I'm getting really fed up with him. And I think listeners will glean that when they listen to these episodes. I was really on a soapbox for a lot of it. And this is so indicative to me. This collection was so indicative of so many of his faults that even the ones that I really, really loved couldn't really rescue the collection and make it a really enjoyable or positive experience. I mean, in isolation, they could. I liked those stories. But I feel like my relationship with King has gotten progressively complicated as I get older and try to think about context more. And I sort of, after reading this, was like, I need a fucking break from this dude. It was not fun to read a lot of these stories in a way that wasn't just married to non-enjoyment, but married to actual kind of being upset. And so are we giving noses here, Mac? Is that what's happening, or?
Yeah. I don't see why not.
I don't know. I would give it like 1.5, 2, I guess. Bright Red, Pennywise, Clown Noses. I know this is maybe an unpopular opinion. I think Skeleton Crew is a stronger collection. I haven't read all of his collections, so I can't really rank them completely. But I really enjoyed some stories. I hope our fans can take solace in that. But my overall impression was kind of like, man, I need a breather.
Wow. I think that's perfectly valid. I think that there was a lot of, as you get into the latter King, and I think a lot of people felt this way for a while, they think they kind of fell out of it, and then King kind of had a little bit of a resurgence with some latter books. So I'm really interested in getting into these because I haven't read a lot of these 90s plus books. So I'm very interested to see how the rest of these turn out. But Mel, if you need to take a break, I totally understand that after reading this book. For me, I would probably give this 2 Bright Red Pennywise Clown Noses because I do feel like the Skeleton Crew is a stronger story. I think that there are stronger stories in that book, maybe not as many, but I don't think that this holds really a candle to that. And I think we're going to be doing an episode soon about, ranking the short story books up to this point, so I don't want to go too deep into that. But this was a schmeg for me to get through. I kind of decided I was going to read a story every day, and then kind of do my notes on it and just kind of plug through this. And that even got difficult to do because I just felt like the stories just weren't. It was just very middling to me. This whole short story collection. And when you hold it up to other things like Night Shift and whatnot, it's just pales in comparison, in my opinion. There's some little pops of goodness in here, like Popsy, obviously, and hey, look, the popular favorite, Crouch End, love it. But this is going to be a two noser for me. Aisha?
I would say for me, this has been an interesting romp through King. And I think before I've been mostly like reading one book, I think at a time. I haven't been on any. I wasn't on Skeleton Crew, and I definitely haven't finished that. And I think I read Before Past Midnight. Yeah, I was on that one. But overall, this, like Mel said, this was a trial to kind of get through for me. And even with, like, the parts that I liked, I was kind of, there was always this in the back of my head, like, but here's all of these things that just, is it me that's saying this, or am I being, like, too sensitive about King and trying to, like, enjoy the content for what it is outside of all the little things that kind of annoyed me or frustrated me. With that in mind, and the fact that, like, I did like some of the stories and enjoyed it and was able to separate, at least for a time, like, my annoyance or frustration, I would say 1.5 to 2 red Pennywise noses.
Okay,
2
1.5
is being extra.
Yeah, I'm with Aisha.
Dan.
Oh man, I feel like I'm gonna seem like such a king shill when I give my rating, but I'm gonna give this 3.5 bright red Pennywise clown noses.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I mean, I there were more stories. I mean, once again, I do think the book is kind of big and dumb. But for me,
3.5.
No,
big and dumb.
But for me, it really functions as kind of a like an overblown collection of like easy comic stories, right? Like Tales from the Crypt or Vault of Horror or something like that. Like I think it's King just leaning into some of his nastiest instincts, which I actually tend to enjoy a little bit more than some of the stabs at profundity. My Pretty Pony accepted.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
Yeah. No, I do think the nasty stories are the ones I like better in this. I think if it was like the size of Night Shift, if it was half as long or maybe half as many stories, you'd have a really good collection in this. So yeah, there was enough good of this in this for me to enjoy it. It's funny the thing about Skeleton Crew, because I still would rank it above Skeleton Crew. That being said, when I think of like my top three stories in Skeleton Crew, none of the ones in Nightmares and Dreamscapes even compare to it at all. And I think too, if King had maybe just been a little bit more consistent in the tone of his stories, not that you're obligated to do that as a short story writer, but I think in this case, everything did feel so scattershot to me. So I could see if it had a little bit more unity and maybe some of the grosser, not grosser like nasty, but grosser like problematic stuff taken out. I can even see this going up to a 4 or 4.5 for me. So yeah, I'm going to stick to my 3.5 Boyd Pennywise Clown Noses.
Oh wow! Well, you heard it here, folks. I think those penny nose clown reds speak.
No, you had the water
for everything
from the end of the whole mess.
I know that I actually wrote my entire outro.
Did you douche yourself?
No, but I think the noses truly speak to the quality and of this book, and then also just the opinions all over this pod. I think that we all come at these things from a totally different angle, and I think that's half the fun of these episodes is getting to discuss and argue with each other about what we do and don't like about Stephen King stories. So I want to thank the 3 co-hosts on this episode. Thanks for barreling through Nightmares and Dreamscapes. And I want to say thanks again to our constant listeners for continuing to check out the Losers Club week to week, and those Patreon patrons that keep us alive and well. Please be sure to spread the word about the podcast and leave us a review on iTunes, Facebook, Stitcher, wherever you listen to us. That helps us greatly, and we really do appreciate it. This has been our coverage on the short story collection Nightmares and Dreamscapes, but don't fret, as we're not out of the marescapes yet, as eventually we will be covering the couple of film adaptations of some of the stories from this book. That'll probably be coming to you in August. However, our next 2 episodes, I believe, are going to be Patreon exclusive eps, and one is a new type of episode we're calling The Crate. And someone has asked us to cover John Carpenter's The Thing. I'm very excited to be doing that. And then we're going to be doing the best short stories so far. So maybe you'll see and hear some of the other losers talk about some of these stories from Nightmares and Dreamscapes on that ep if they make the cut.
That's
and then we have a really
short
cool
stories from all the collections up to Nightmares and Dreamscapes.
Yes, up until Nightmare. And then also we have a King panel that's going to be available to everyone. So that's also something really cool on the way. I don't know the details on that, but if you follow us on the socials, you will get all the details soon, I'm sure. So thanks so much. We if you want to get a head start on the next book that we're going to be covering, that's going to be 1994's Insomnia. So I don't believe I'm on that episode, but I definitely want to read it because Mel, I know it has something to do with the Dark Tower. And so we look forward to next time. But until then, long days and pleasant nights. Bye, everybody.
I got some hot friends. God, I got some hot friends. I got some hot friends. God, I got some hot friends. But you know you want somebody to treat you good.
Consequence Podcast Network.